I don't want to be right.
What would Socrates say to that?
It tickles my face.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marco.
That's not. No, that's not.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's true. You do got me.
Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at
Open in Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit her with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better about me, boy. Okay. Leroy told me, hold to the show, man. Still to the sauce with the show, and till then his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof of my life at a boat, no proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him, independent, I never ever traded. You know what is a star? Like under the city, the driver's side fly. We took a large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. Hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever, and cute as could be. You can watch on YouTube with me for free. This one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Morning, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program today. Hello, Froggy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Excellent, sir. It's a beautiful Wednesday outside. Enjoy it, dude. This is going to be the warmest you're going to be for a little bit.
Dude, it's going to be so cold in Las Vegas. Like, what the hell is this?
It's so strange.
I am not prepared for this. I don't like this. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm going to look. Let me
I put a
look.
jacket in my suitcase. I'm like, I guess I need this.
Ooh, 37 right now in Vegas, dude. Love that. A cool 7 a.m. right now over there as well. Good luck, dude. Good luck. Warms up though. It warms up as the week goes. You could potentially find yourself waking up to a cool 44 degrees by Saturday.
Yep. Man, that is. Yeah, we're flying out to Vegas. We're going to see the David Benavidez, David Morrell fight. You know, if you guys want to know when we expect the trade to happen with Jimmy Butler, we were just joking about this before the show today because we're going to run some stuff back and find out we got to go to the airport. But fully expecting the 1 o'clock hour, Jimmy Butler will be traded.
Absolutely.
We're expecting that fully. Like, we're just like, because we're going to try and get away with a fast one here so we can get on our airplane to get to Las Vegas. I fully expect Jimmy Butler to get traded at the 1 o'clock hour today. Yep. I'm not reporting that. I'm just talking about radio karma biting us in the ass. So we'll see what happens and what's what. But for right now, ladies and gents, let's get Gents.
Who's that?
Who the hell are Gents?
It's very inclusive of
you. Anyway, let's get to our headlines brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Choose one over 1,300 new Hyundai models and inventory like the Tucson, the Sonata, and the Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. Schmieden says, do the show from baggage claim, you lazy bones. Trust me, we've already talked. We've talked about this. Look, if for some reason that does happen and the worst happen, we'll figure out how to get it on the air and break it down. We do have capabilities of doing that. I'm just like, I'm fully expecting that's what's going to happen.
That is right.
Anyway, the big news yesterday was non-Jimmy Butler related, to be honest with you. For the first time in a long time, somebody else wanted a little bit of trade shine. And that is that the Sacramento Kings are apparently now fielding offers for De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is apparently going to be on the trade market. He has informed them or Rich Paul has informed the Kings he doesn't intend to sign there long term. Get what you can for him. And it was very interesting when it was broken down because the trade usually comes with a list. But we've seen with lists lately, they've blown up in the face. So Rich Paul, savvy like a fox, decides, he has a destination in mind. I'm like, what's that? Now, the reports are out of Sacktown, and I believe Sam Amick has also reported this. That preferred destination, that one place, the golden Willy Wonka ticket he wants to go to,
one place
is my San Antonio.
Wow. Okay. Well,
he wants to go to the San Antonio Spurs and team up with Victor Wembanyama. Not that other teams shouldn't try and trade for him.
Yeah.
But apparently that's the place. Like, he has his big eye on as he's looking and goes, "What are you doing with Wemby?" Now, I don't even know if the Spurs are interested. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But the preferred destination of De'Aaron Fox is San Antonio. Now, could the Miami Heat still get in the game for De'Aaron Fox?
All right.
Perhaps.
All right.
Perhaps. Now, they have obviously have a big issue they have to deal with right now, which is they got to first trade Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Is there any world
Yes.
where De'Aaron Fox,
Yes.
Jimmy Butler
Come on.
is the swapskis? Obviously, that he got to come up with some sweetener.
Do we? Okay.
But is there any world where there's either 3-team machinations or 4-team machinations? Is there any way
Come on.
we can wield this all together to get disgruntled stars gruntled and back to a place where everybody's happy?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is, I don't know where he's going to be happy, to be honest with you.
Really?
I guess Phoenix, but who cares?
Who cares, really?
Is there
Enough of his
a
story.
scenario? Apparently, he's told Sacramento, I don't want to go there, which is weird because I think he is friends with listen, you love DeMar DeRozan, don't you, Jimmy?
Sick of this guy.
You love DeMar DeRozan.
Not a Hall of Fame.
Is there a place, Froggy, where this can all happen? I don't know. That seems like a tall task, if you ask me. I don't know.
Does the money align? Are we?
I'm sure we could make the money align.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure we
can.
could make the money align.
That's right.
I'm just talking about as a base of the heavy hitter pieces.
Yeah.
Is there a world where that goes?
That's a good trade.
I don't know. But let's say it doesn't. Okay.
Right.
Let's say the Jimmy thing is another thing. Do the Miami Heat have the means to trade for De'Aaron Fox?
Without?
Do they think that De'Aaron Fox is the piece? Because we were talking yesterday about the Luka thing, right?
Yep.
The Heat have these ideas of the orca, the whale. Who's the next guy? Who's the next pivot piece? You're seeing names like Luka Doncic get thrown out there. Of course, like the dream of all dreams down the road would probably be Anthony Edwards, especially if maybe things go awry in Minnesota.
Yeah. These sound like
Relationship-
your dreams, though.
No, I'm
They
just
sound
saying
like
these are the things that Heat kick around.
Do they? Or is
De'Aaron Fox, the all-star,
it- Yeah.
averages over 25 a game.
Fast.
Fast, dude.
Mobile.
He is mobile.
Yeah.
He is mobile. But is De'Aaron Fox the kind of guy with that wet your whistle playing in a backcourt with Tyler Hero with his best friend Bam Adebayo?
Besties?
But you got to give him Khalil Ware.
Whoa!
You gotta give him Khalil Ware.
Okay.
You got to.
No.
You have to.
What?
You got to
You
give up
just
the
gonna
warehouse.
Drop that at the end of that?
That's the deal.
What the hell was that?
Do you want to do that?
No, I don't want to.
I'm just saying that's what you got to do.
That's the only way.
He's played 4 games.
That's the only way.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yep.
You can have De'Aaron Fox
Okay. Now I'm
with
scared.
Tyler Hero,
I'm scared.
with Bam Adebayo.
Yep.
I'll keep Khalil Ware.
Okay. All right. Don't
But
do
you
it.
got to give up Jovic and Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Hey, there's
on
okay.
top of probably a first-round pick.
You mean I can't?
Does that wet your whistle? So you're going, you got to be like De'Aaron Fox,
Yeah.
Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Warehouse. Probably going to have to trade Duncan for salary. And then I guess we'll end up with Chris Middleton somewhere for Jimmy Butler. Would that wet your whistle? Are you going to be rats off a ship on the Serbian Terminator, or are you more, unsure about Jovic and where he goes and what he's playing with? I don't even know if Sacramento would want him because I don't know how the fit would go with old feathery hair over there, Sabonis, overrated bum.
No, he's not. Okay, that's
Would that wet your whistle?
Jovic. Okay, I got two kind of. I can't trade Jovic. I can't trade Ware. Can I interest you in a Jaime Duncan Pella Larson? Juiceman?
Do you think that's a winning hand? Like, let's go to the blackjack table with the Spurs. Do you think that's a winning hand? That gets us De'Aaron Fox?
No, that is me staying put at 14. I'm kind of just like,
Interesting.
damn, dude. It's
All right,
hold on.
Something? Yeah, it's gonna cost you something. If you want to win, if there's a bunch of calls, you got to be like, all right, who's the piece that gets it? Because you don't have a bevy of picks right now.
Nope.
All right. Now, I don't want this to happen
Okay, no.
because the man's been tremendous.
Oh,
What a year he's had.
no way.
Could be named an all-star this week.
No way.
Would you trade high on Tyler Hero? Would you trade Tyler Hero for De'Aaron Fox right now?
I can't go 1-for-1 because I mean Tyler's value is a little bit higher right now. So at that point, they owe me something.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you what I think?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
I agree.
I'm not trading Tyler Hero for De'Aaron Fox, but I'm trying to wonder I'm trying to get your gauge of where you're at, Frog Boy, because these are the types of questions you have to ask.
This is rough, dude. I'm not
These
ready
are the
for
questions you have
these
to ask.
rooms.
And when I'm wondering it, here's what you got to wonder, right?
Yeah.
The Miami Heat are in an interesting time right now, right? Incredible year for Tyler Hero. He looks like now the face of the franchise they all wanted, right?
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo, down year, but coming off his best game of the season.
Yep.
You look like you hit a grand slam with your first round pick this year. Like Jaime, ground rule double. Jovic, double, maybe stole a base.
Yeah.
With Khalil Ware, I know it's been like 6 games, but Adam Simon looks like he hit a grand slam, pimped his shot, and is doing the airplane around second base right now.
That's double.
That's what this guy looks like right now as a pick. Very disrespectful. Pimping his shot.
Just imagine he's like Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Doing the Euro step around every base.
Yeah, that's rookie of the year.
So,
Yep.
You look like you have 3 for sure cornerstones that you want to just say right now, okay?
Yeah.
Those 3. I think Jovic is in there too.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of like if you look at basketball, it's a bit of a weird team. It's a bit of a weird team with him and Khalil and Bam. Do the Heat really believe in Jovic? How much do they believe in Jovic?
Oof.
Is he untouchable? To me,
I think so.
you don't touch my Jovic.
Okay.
You don't touch my Jovic.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you right now,
Yeah.
I think I'm saying this knowing that if I'm not willing to give up Ware, Jovic, Hero,
Yeah.
obviously Bam's not going anywhere because he's De'Aaron Fox's best friend. That's what makes him want to come here.
Okay.
If he were to come here.
So we agree those 4 though are like kind of untouchable.
I think if I had to say, I would say yes. Your 2 top guys are untouchable. I think, especially for a guy like Fox.
Yeah.
I feel like for a guy like Fox, who's an all-star player, incredible scorer, but I do wonder, with this team, does a De'Aaron Fox, you bring him into the fold with Bam and Tyler. Let's just say you were able to get it done. Bam, Tyler, Ware. You had to give up Jovic, but it's like let's go, Bam, Tyler, Ware, and Fox. What is that team? What is that team? Is that incredible? Are they top 4 in the East, or is he making us Kings West? And I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know, because certainly, guy's been the face of a franchise. They had a very good year last couple of years. He obviously hates Sacramento. It seems like a circus over there. He's had enough. He's ready to go.
First round exit.
And everybody's kind of making it seem like, oh, you wanted to stink. They gave his franchise to Sabonis, which you should never do. Overrated. And so,
triple double the other day.
Who?
Sabonis.
Did he win?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't think so.
That's what I thought. Russell Westbrook used to get crucified for that. But Sabonis, you look like Sabonis all of a sudden. Triple doubles when you lose. You guys just don't get it. But whatever.
Okay.
I'm just asking, Froggy. I'm asking questions. I'm not ready to have it. I'm not ready to have a take.
Yeah.
But I feel like my take leans, and maybe I'm just setting myself up like he doesn't even want me. I don't want him. Never wanted him.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm in that space right now. If the Heat could somehow pull this off without giving up those 4, amazing.
Man, De'Aaron Fox scored 32 games ago.
I know.
I mean,
He's a good scorer.
Pretty good.
He's a good scorer.
30? Remember that?
He's a good scorer. But
Tyler's done that like once.
you have a backcourt. He's been always very good in his career stealing the ball, but he's not known as a lockdown defender.
True.
He's not very big.
Nope.
Not very big. I don't know, dude.
So my thing is, shouldn't Jimmy Butler be enough? Isn't that enough for De'Aaron Fox? That to me is like, I mean, okay. The Sacramento's willing to take a rental in DeMar DeRozan. You can't try on a Jimmy Butler for size.
Oh, hello, Leroy.
Leroy. Make sure you stop.
We call that the J Fig.
The J Fig. That was impressive.
All right, well, just wear it on for size.
Yeah.
Just let me know how you feel about it. We'll bring Leroy into the fold with all this talk. We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. Back after this.
Welcome back.
Marco.
I got you off guard.
Yeah, because you played the original song. I thought it was going to be a rap.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you got to give love to the originals, Leroy. They just don't make them like they used to. You'll find out when you get older.
It's true. You're so new school, Leroy.
Got Riz.
First of all, I don't believe a word Spo said.
You're talking about the promo player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why? Marcos,
Yes.
here's why I can't ride with Spo with what he said.
All right.
He used the Tobin phrase.
What?
Task in hand.
Task at hand.
I'm out. I'm out.
It's true.
No.
Fan of the show, maybe.
So when you were on your way in, we were talking a little bit about the buzz yesterday. Was
my
De'Aaron
goodness.
Fox is now apparently on the trade block.
Let's go to San Antonio.
That's the word. That's the word, but not. But that's not like the.
Wait.
It's not a firm.
Hey.
It's not a firm trade.
Hey. This dude
What?
is funny.
Who?
You know why?
Why?
Because you will disregard anything that a person says
Mhm.
to include the Heat, right? So you're like, he says he would prefer
I don't
to
even
go to San
Well,
Antonio.
that's what he's. That's
Hey,
what the
hey,
word
hey.
is. That's what the word is. That's what the,
but
I don't even know if I want him. To be honest with you,
stop lying.
I don't even know if I
Stop.
want him.
See, this is
I like De'Aaron Fox. Do I love De'Aaron Fox? I don't know if I love him more than Warren Jovic. I don't know.
you
Yeah,
trading
that's-
that much?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
No,
No,
No.
right. Okay.
Well,
No.
I'm not trading. Listen,
see, well, this is the thing.
there
you
is
guys-
no. We flip roles here
Mhm.
because I always ask you
Mhm.
when you talk about these players who you're going to give up, and you get mad at me.
Right.
Now you're just willing to give up everybody.
I'm not willing to give up everybody, but I'm asking.
Here.
I'm asking
There
what
is-
you're willing to give up on the
there is
roster
two-
to get him.
I know you don't want to hear this. There's two players that have to stay. Maybe three. Khalil, Tyler, Bam.
I agree with you.
We can work with everything else.
Jovic is the line.
Hmm?
Jovic is the line.
And let me revisit that. 4 guys. Include Jovic.
Yeah.
Just slipped my mind. It
I
was
know.
I was there.
But are we
I'm not-
crazy?
There is
we have
here,
20 minutes of this lineup.
there is
We have
no
20 minutes of this lineup.
there is no player that you could put in the lineup right now that would make it better than those 4 guys, because you would have to sacrifice some of those guys.
Mhm.
So it's not worth it to me.
If somehow the Miami Heat could
Mm-hmm.
pull this off with this being in the Jimmy trade, I know that's kind of been kicked around. Like Pat Riley, apologies for anybody who ever said Sleepy Pat, but I never said that about him. I never said that about him. Don't do that. Now I did shout down at the window to get off his Godfather ass and make a move, which he's yet to do. But
Because he's taking a nap.
I don't know. I don't judge what he does on his personal time. But what I do know is what the thing I wonder about De'Aaron Fox, right? I'm trying to grow up. I'm
Okay.
trying to change.
Okay.
Because the old Tobes, this is what I would do. All right.
Okay.
Old Tobin
Mhm.
Tobin would not be wailing for De'Aaron Fox. I would be putting on a foxing outfit and being like, Talisman! We're going foxing. That's what I would do. I would put like one of those little hats
yeah.
with the red coats.
Yeah.
It seems like you already had that planned out.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Talisman!
At least it was a point.
Thank you.
Gotta be honest with that one.
You got the white gloves, the red coat, the little hat,
And the
a
musket.
hound dog.
And a musket.
We're going foxing.
Oh, now you ever notice? Do they go foxing with guns? Because they're always on the horse with the fancy outfits.
I believe they do.
But
Yeah,
I never see them with a gun.
I think the
I know
assistant
I
had to
know
go.
why they did it. They did it to protect the cattle. So they would go,
Go foxing.
yes.
Look at you.
You grew up on a farm. You don't know that.
Lu-
Allegedly.
Luis says Fox for Jaime.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know
That's
if
not a
look. I don't know what Jaime's getting you this year. I really
Yeah.
don't. Now he is in the Rising Stars
Now-
game.
I will say this. They said the same thing about Tyler.
Hmm.
Can't get enough for Tyler.
Well, they didn't get anything for Tyler.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler was on the trade block for 3 years.
Would you trade Tyler for Fox?
No.
Okay. Just thought we me neither. I just wanted to make sure you were there too. So we're at the point because this is what I would say with De'Aaron Fox, right? Even though the Heat aren't top on his list, so I'm not trying to be like, oh, I don't want him. I would want him at the right cost. But if the Miami Heat truly have pipe dreams, you were talking to Jeremy Schapp yesterday. We were talking about this Luka pipe dream, right? If you have these Luka pipe dreams in a year, or Anthony Edwards, I'm trying to think about like what is this team going to be? And before, I think we kind of need to gauge it, right? Like what the Jimmy's gone. We're patting the post Jimmy era. Whenever he goes, he goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. We have the guys now, and it's Tyler, it's Bam, it's Ware, and right now it's Nico, with Duncan, of course, always right by our side. What is that team going to be? And then what is the piece they need to get them to become actual contenders? Is De'Aaron Fox that guy?
Here's what I've always said. If you look at most of the rosters in this league, you have two guys that account for 50 to 60 points on a nightly basis.
Yep.
The Heat do not have that. And we could talk about playoff Jimmy. We can talk about all these things. But if you look around the NBA and all they have two guys. And between those two guys, you can count on 50 to 60 points. We don't have that because our star player would sometimes give you 15, 8, and 8. And we'd say, oh, yeah, touch them all. Good game. But you ain't scoring. So if it would bring somebody and put them next to Tyler, and we know that we could count on those two guys. Now, here's the problem.
Yep.
Defensively,
Small up front,
right?
Grounding that point of attack.
Well, De'Aaron Fox is about. Well,
He's 6'3".
That's Tyler's taller than him.
He's all torso, dude.
Who? De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah.
You mean he's all legs and arms?
He's all legs and arms.
Right. That's like SGA. SGA got a weird build.
Yeah. And he's not a bad shooter, but he's not a great shooter either.
He's a scorer.
He's a scorer.
Right. So that's where I am.
And I wonder in a backcourt like that.
You this is what you do, and here's the difference between you and me.
I do the same things. I'm responsible.
You look at the name, right? I look at the player and what he brings to the table. Forget the name. Forget what he does for that team. What is he going to do here? And when you think of all the point guards in the East, a lot of them got some pretty big dudes, right? And if you're competing with Indiana, you got to go with
if you're
Boston.
Boston's got a defensive fortress out there with their guards,
right? But so like
Cleveland does not. Cleveland's got two small guards.
Yeah,
Cleveland's got. That would almost be like the build you would be looking at. It would be like you have.
Well, you'd be bigger than them.
Yeah,
Garland
if you could keep all three of those guys.
Yeah,
but you are going to probably that's the thing is you have. Unless Kel'el Ware is going to be a 40% shooter his entire career. I have no idea. I have no idea if he's just on a heater, if he's going to be on I don't know. I'm drunk on this Kel'el Ware era right now. I don't know what to think. You could tell me Luka would be available. I don't know.
I just get mad. You know why I get mad?
Why?
You telling me he couldn't have been doing this?
I'm sure he could have.
Right.
But
like it's crazy.
He's not on the Rising Stars roster right now, by the way, which is crazy to me.
And he could win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Kel'el Ware. It's his era. I'll see myself.
I'll allow it. That's the point.
He already dropped his head and said, "I'll see myself out."
Is there half a point?
By the way, Marcos, I don't appreciate you throwing that list in my face.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt.
Right,
Usually I
but
don't get
listen-
shamed
Most
on
tortured
TV.
fan bases.
Most tortured fan bases, and I happen to play for 2 of them.
Yeah, number 2.
There's
Browns,
32
Browns.
teams. There's 5 on the top list. I played for 2 of them. Now, I will say this. I think the Vikings are more screwed than the Bills. That's just recency bias. Because the Bills have gone to 4 Super Bowls in a row. So did the Vikings. The Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls in a row. But also,
Lost them all?
the first 2 teams to go 15-1 and not make the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I don't know what he's talking about with Buffalo.
That's crazy.
Right. Go 15-1. Denny Green went something like 40-8 for 3 years and never made it to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I would say Minnesota's number 1. How can you put the Bears there? The Bears have been tortured lately, but
85 Bears
right.
takes you off the list.
Exactly.
Everybody,
They won a
it's one of the
championship.
most iconic teams of all time.
They're the only team up there that won a championship.
Crazy. All right, we'll take a break. That was 15 minutes of heat, which is brought to you by Hollywood Kia. At Hollywood Kia, the big game is here. Tackle game-winning deals during the handoff drive-off event at Hollywood Kia. Get $1,000 lease bonus cash towards your new Kia Plus. Double your down payment up to $3,000. Visit them online, hollywoodkia.com. Call them up, 832-930-6181. Back after this.
Text WQAM on the Kendall Toyota text line.
Boy here with you, 560
Hey.
WQAM.
Have you seen that commercial with this song with the kids going? They play with
No, like a one.
Oh, with the kazoo?
with the kazoo
funny.
because the song starts and you see the kids dancing, and then all of a sudden they go to reality and they're doing it with kazoo.
A couple things to tell you guys about. We're giving you a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Morgan Wallen with special guest Miranda Lambert, Brooks and Dunn, Gavin Adcock at Hard Rock Stadium in July. If you guys want to enter this contest, text the word ROCK to 20357. ROCK, ROCK to 20357. For more information, go to WQM.com. It's text contest, message and data rates apply. Don't text and drive. Let us get to our road to repeat, which is brought to us by our friends over at Celsius. Hockey fans, don't sit this one out when it's game time. Make Celsius a part of your play and get that energy up. Game day is fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of
Your Florida Panthers.
Cats back at it tonight against the LA Kings back in their barn. That is a 7 o'clock puck drop from Amerant Bank Arena. You guys can hear that game on 790 The Tick Cat.
Whoa, hey, hold on.
Hmm?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Point for Toby.
7 o'clock gets you going. You guys can hear Doug play against Billy Lindsay on the call. They will.
Excuse me?
790 The Tick Cat.
That is-
Now you're giving me -1?
What?
Am I missing something?
Instead of this, it was 790 The Ticket.
Oh, okay.
790 The Tick Cat.
Oh,
See, it sounded so believable. He thought it was real. He's been very emotional.
I don't know if
about
he
that
wants to give me
whole thing.
-1 or a point. I can't tell.
The fact that he hasn't come out and said -1, though, that's a point.
It's true.
Yeah,
You have to make a call.
He would have blatantly,
You have to make a call.
I
already.
can't change the call on the field.
yeah.
Without
The
more evidence, you
the
know?
play stands as called because
I know what I got.
it's not.
It's one of those where the refs just look at each other and they're just like, let's just jump it up.
Yeah.
What do we need to get Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl?
Mhm. So, got that going tonight. We'll look at some chili peppers a little bit later on this
what-
one. You know,
Got that giant chili pepper sitting out there.
just sitting out there. But meanwhile,
Yes,
let's mix it on up, dude.
let's do it.
What do we got today in the mixed bag, Froggy?
We got a whole bunch of people you guys hate.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
wow.
We
That's a
will,
long list.
That is quite a bit. We will start with America's least favorite podcaster,
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick.
Oh,
It is indeed.
they got smoked yesterday. AD got hurt.
He was very angry. Did you see when he was angry?
He's always, I've never seen him happy.
he's a bit angry. I'm not gonna lie to you. He
Coaching does that to you.
Even at the heat of his in the height of his podcast success, he didn't look happy podcasting.
that's true. That's true. And he was always
That's usually
fighting with
people that-
someone.
like sometimes people think they need to be more serious than it is,
Mm.
right? Like I get the job he has is serious, but that don't mean you have to act serious. You think people think you care more if you're super serious?
I don't know.
Well,
I love watching Spo during games, though. He's ridiculous.
Wow.
he is ridiculous.
Matt Eberflus.
Cowboys.
Can I
defensive
just say
coordinator?
this?
Yeah.
Zero idea what he looked like
Really?
before.
It was like one of the big things of Hard Knocks this year was that he changed his
that's right.
look
He got
to
a beard. Right?
he's got a beard.
Yeah, I remember
His
that
wife
being
thought he
a
looked sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. well,
sexy enough to keep his job.
Nope. So what did JJ Redick have to say after his loss to the
Uh,
Sixers?
JJ Redick, our boy, not really. He gave Bronny a chance yesterday. Not sure if you
Oh,
guys saw
sure
this.
did.
Old Bronny James had an opportunity to play in the first minutes of the first quarter against the 76ers. Unfortunately,
Gabe Vincent into foul trouble or something?
I'm not really sure why he was inserted. That must be the only reason, because you don't want to put him against Tyrese Maxey in the first quarter for no reason. Unfortunately,
Tough go of it, huh?
he ended the game 0 for 5, and he had a whopping 4 turnovers in that,
Yeesh.
or 3 turnovers in the first 15 minutes. So unfortunately, not a good game. But you know, JJ Redick, of course, is going to be asked about Bronny's performance after the game. And this is what the podcaster had to say.
You know, I maybe put him in a tough spot. You know, flying up yesterday and nationally televised game and Philly, all that stuff. It's he didn't play well, but he's been playing great. In the Stay Ready games, and he's been playing great in the G. So I have confidence in him, but obviously didn't provide that at a high level.
You can't call.
What the hell is a Stay Ready
I
game
don't know. I don't know what a Stay Ready
in the
is.
G? You just call it the
You
G.
can't call it the G.
Hold on.
Mm-mm.
Let me explain something to you.
Yeah, we're at the G.
It's the same problem I had with Khalil going to the G League for 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's preparation to go and get a couple of games down there? You ain't that guy.
But at the G,
He needs development. That ain't so he need to be down there for a substantial period of time, or do he need to work on his game? But you send him down for a couple of games, then bringing him back and say, oh, you got a lot of work in.
He has played 13 games this year. He is 1 for 16 in the NBA.
I'm sorry.
4 points. This is Bronny.
His field goals are 1 for 16.
1 for 16, 4 points, 0 for 7 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
I've heard
The
enough.
problem is this. At some point, Big Bron is going to have to, let's go to work. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think he's gone to his son and said, let's go to work?
Well,
You
the
don't think
next,
that's
the
happened?
next conversation
You don't
is,
think that's happened?
just like Jordan, you're going to go open up a shoe store.
I like how, but it is funny. It's such an LA thing, and JJ Redick's hair is like, yeah, it's the G. It's like the Heat just say, you're going to Sioux Falls.
Yeah,
You know what that is.
You
You know Sioux. Imagine if Bronny had to go to Sioux Falls. Like, isn't the Lakers G League team just in LA?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, but think about this. They refused to send Bronny for a substantial amount of time to their G League.
I don't think he goes road games. I think
Which-
doesn't he only do home games?
Yeah, which is down the street, right? And Spo sent the Rookie of the Year to Sioux Falls.
Sure did.
Mm.
What else you got in the mixed bag?
I ain't mad at you, Spo, but damn.
He is averaging 16 in the G League.
Yeah,
Okay.
with
All
other
right.
G Leaguers.
It's not nothing.
Could be something, could be nothing.
Oof, he's shooting 36% though.
Yeah, so he's just out there chucking it up.
21% from 3.
He's a big dog on the South Bay Lakers for sure. Worst haircut in the NFL, gentlemen.
Oh, that's the owner of the Raiders.
Boom.
Correct.
He's right.
Mark Davis.
And he spends $900 for it.
Sure does.
Very strange.
Maybe we'll see him.
Maybe
He's a big boxing fan.
Wow. Okay.
He looks like the Dumb and Dumber guy that was sitting on the back of the bike.
very
Lloyd
bad.
Christmas? Lloyd Christmas?
Yeah.
Mark Davis says Tom Brady, someone I was lacking after losing Gruden.
Bringing in Tom Brady was bringing in somebody that was on the football side that I had been lacking having here at the organization. Back in, this was 18 with John Gruden. He was somebody that I brought in and really expected to be that person on the football side that would bring stability to the organization. He had a 10-year contract and all that, and his head was chopped off. And we were put in a really bad position as an organization.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about that they ousted Gruden like that. Remember, he wanted all the files released and they wouldn't do it. Those Davises, they're a bit of a they really are like the black sheep of the ownership.
There's no
Talk to the mic, dude.
There's nobody who sued the NFL more than Al Davis and the Raiders. And furthermore, Al Davis used to be the commissioner.
That's true.
So, yeah, it would always be 31-1-0, the Raiders. The Raiders sued to go to LA. They sued to go back to Oakland, right? They just
The thing that's also interesting with him that's different from Jerry Jones is like Jerry Jones very clearly likes to be, this he does seem like I want I want help. Like I want my
Right.
organization run well, and
He just keeps picking the wrong
yeah,
person.
like he just keeps picking the wrong
I mean,
guys.
yeah.
What else you got, Marcos?
We have gone over thus far. We mentioned JJ Redick, one of the people that
Yeah, I don't
we
really
dislike.
dislike Mark Davis too much.
No, but Tom Brady was.
Oh, I
mentioned.
hate
That's
him.
why- yeah.
Why
That's why I
people
thought
hate
that.
winners?
His face, dude.
Like,
Like,
because you realize people hated Jordan when he was doing all that winning.
Jordan didn't cheat.
Yeah, look at that.
Let me know when he deflated the basketball.
Very
I'll
true.
wait.
Very true.
Okay. Keep going. You're telling me that people didn't hate Jordan at the end, like when he went to that second three-peat? When they were rooting for the other team. It was crazy.
I didn't like Michael Jordan.
Right.
I mean, I hate the fact that his stupid numbers up in the rafters. I've hated that for years.
That is strange.
You know, they tried to put lipstick on a pig by taking it. It's not a Bulls jersey anymore. It's just a red 23.
Yeah.
I still hate it.
Still weird.
A red 20. You can't put rando.
Yeah.
That's worse.
They used to have up in the rafters. They had a actual Bulls jersey 23.
Did he
It
come-
used to, I think, be half and half Wizards, half Bulls.
Yeah.
Then they just changed it to a Bulls jersey, and now it's just a red 23. They put up there when they did the Bill Russell thing, right? They're like, well, we're not putting a Celtics jersey up there. So when Bill Russell passed away, the number retired. They put the 6 up there in green for Bill Russell. They put the 13 in Marino. It's not retired; it's honored. But it used to be a Dolphins jersey in the rafters. It looked ridiculous.
I do remember that.
It looked ridiculous.
It was strange. It was strange.
10 tank tops and
Yeah, like what? What do you mean?
Marino.
Oh,
too much. I
Anyway,
think Dan Marino's jersey should be retired in football. And
Ooh,
basketball
like-
should be
like-
retired in basketball.
yeah,
I
I'm with
got-
you 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, it was. I believe that was pre Dwayne Wade. They were looking for gimmicks.
Yeah, makes sense.
The Panthers are like, they're just coming out of that where they got
Yeah.
people that they can honor and,
Doing strange things with the microphone today, Leroy.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's like talking to your shoulder, dude. Talk into the
What's going on?
microphone.
And then you hold it like a rapper on the floor. What's going on?
hey, man. Hey,
Huh?
let me tell you.
What?
You know what I had to do to get here by JFig time?
That's gonna get us a
Like,
text.
No, but think about it. I called Tobes and said, why did it have to be like 15 after? I'm like, hey, I gotta go back home. Left my wallet.
Son Steve says that number was pseudo retired prior to Mike Miller. I think you're right on that. I don't think in the time they did not. But then once Mike Miller, then I believe went to Shabazz Napier, then Bam Adebayo. And Bam will probably be, then it will be real retired when Bam's done one day. Jimmy said, I believe Jimmy said at one point, he said Pat was going to unretire 23 for him, but he's just like, yeah, it's going to go 22. Because I believe the whole gimmick was Jimmy did that because he was in Jordan brand. That's why he switched to 23.
Well, true or false? Will 22 hang at the rafters from this?
I believe one day, but it's going to be a while.
Wait, now let's be clear.
I think so.
Of all the situations and players that Pat has dealt with, this has been the most contentious.
Definitely.
Because even when D Wade didn't get paid, D Wade didn't act a fool. And he came back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He's a good guy.
Even the situation with LeBron, even though you hated it, it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe got traded.
Yep.
You look at
Timmy.
You look at
contentious.
you look
Shaq.
at Glenn Rice.
Shaq was probably the worst exit.
Right. Well, because
Came down to fisticuffs.
because
What?
Shaq was 400.
Well, I'm not you. That's your department, not mine.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Give us that last.
Shaq won
respect.
that chip. It was over.
Woody Johnson on Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to leave that to them. They've got to take a look at how the team's composed and what they
Rats
think
out that
they
ship.
need and put all that together.
Would you welcome Aaron Rodgers back if your coach and general manager would like to go that route?
Absolutely. Yeah, if they want him back, Aaron's a talent for sure. He's a Hall of Famer.
Will you voice your opinion on that, Woody, or is it really just on specific?
No, I'm not going to voice my opinion. No, that's up to them.
All right, there you go. We'll take a break. Hour Tua is next.
Football coverage
Two of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Let us get to headlines brought to you by Doral Hyundai. At Doral Hyundai, choose road with 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory to Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. Miami Heat back on the hardwood tonight, taking on, there's a big one, Cleveland Cavaliers in town. Miami did beat Cleveland earlier this year. Of course, a much different look Miami Heat team with now Jimmy Butler on the outs, but they did win that game. Cleveland is a big-time favorite tonight. They are 8-point favorites coming into Miami. They lost 3 straight, I think.
Yeah, their longest drought of the year.
Yeah, this is well, listen, they weren't going to break the Bulls record, so you had to figure some losses were going to come around sometime. They won one.
When you see records, and you see records that could be or may be broken, do you compare to people that are either going to break it or have broken? Because under no circumstance would I ever think that this Cleveland Cavaliers team is as good as the Bulls team.
Agreed.
So, or even, and they don't even have the record. It's Golden State.
Golden State, yeah.
Or that good either, right? But I don't want to just dismiss them, right? So when you say they lost 3, I'm like, yeah, of course. They weren't going to break that record. They're not as good as.
Froggy's right, though. They did bounce back. They beat Detroit on Monday. Yeah. Beat them good. So, yeah, that gets going tonight. It is a 7:30 tip-off from the Kaseya Center. And are we starting to put wear on player props yet?
Right? Like
finally. All right.
Double.
Ooh, you
Wear a double. It's hard. It's weird. It's easy for him to get 10 points. It's hard for him to get 10 rebounds.
Plus 160 tonight for a double-double.
Plus 160.
Plus 160.
Double-double, though. Foul trouble. Remember that.
What?
Guess it's foul trouble.
He did get into foul trouble. He held it off. I mean, he still exploded in that second
He still didn't do the dunking 2 for 2. That's only one other person that's done that.
Pella.
It's funny. They played the same position.
Man, I'm just happy to see
wing defender.
Tyler double-double. Tyler had a double-double last game. It's 5-1.
What's triple-double? Because he almost had triple-double.
Oh,
they only have Bam listed tonight. That's 17-1.
Hello, where more than one 3-pointer?
The problem is Bam will get the double-double.
Bam will for sure get the double-double.
It's the assist.
No, his double-double number is minus 120 tonight.
I'm going to get crazy.
What?
They're playing the Cavs, and the Cavs are pretty big, too.
2
so
threes.
And athletic.
What are the threes for Kalel tonight?
1.5.
1.5, yeah.
And it's plus 115?
Yes, it is. And then, okay, I always got to check out my
1.5 is like
Haywood
standard,
Highsmith one
right?
steal.
Yep. Oh, he had that 6 steal during the first quarter of the last game. Was that against Anthony Black?
Cashes in every time. Love it. And if we think Kalel wears it, we're getting a little value here. We're a little value here. Only three legs on this parlay. I feel like a normal gambler. Maybe I can go for 4 legs. Just 4 legs. Easy.
Man, his block number is already at minus 225.
Hey, by the way, I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
On the way from the airport,
Yeah.
you got to stop at In-N-Out.
I thought that was already decided.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you got
right
to.
here.
Got to.
Now, because here's the problem. Last time I went to Vegas, they were building the track.
Yeah.
And even though you could see In-N-Out Burger from the hotel, it took 35 minutes to take a cab there.
Speaking of Vegas, by the way, we got a contest for you. The Slam Dunk in Vegas. Travel and accommodations for 1 winner and 3 guests to Las Vegas, plus $5,000 for each guest. It's a total of $20,000. It's easy to enter. Download the free Odyssey app, log in, or register for an account, and then you listen to WQM or any participating station. You listen each day for a minimum of 1 hour for your entry. You can do it every day. The Slam Dunk in Vegas. Great prize and your chance to win. Listen to WQM on the free Odyssey app. Travel dates are March 17th through the 22nd in 2025. It's a national contest. Cats back on the ice tonight, 7 o'clock against the LA Kings from Amerant Bank Arena. Miami Dolphins QB coach Darrell Bevell. he is interviewing with Pete Carroll for the Vegas Raiders offensive coordinator job, a job he had with the Seahawks with from 2011 to 2017. So could be reuniting with Pete Carroll.
That's great. That's great. I'm happy for him.
What?
Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Who's he gonna coach?
Good
nothing
question.
Nothing like being a quarterback coach with no quarterback.
Well,
think they bring Russ back?
I felt like that ended Frosty, didn't it? That feels like
Did it end with Pete Carroll there, or did it leave after? It
Uh,
ended before Pete Carroll left, right? Because he's only been out for like a year.
no, he just left. No, he left first.
Right.
Carroll,
Russ left first, then Pete Carroll.
Right.
Pete Carroll actually answered that question on a reunion with.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Oh, did he?
And this is
Wow.
the Raiders head coach.
Frog
We're
boy.
just in the midst of just trying to, find the puzzle pieces, not even putting them together yet. So I can't even say. I mean, guys are still, free agency hasn't come yet. That's the first competitive opportunity that will occur, and then the draft is coming. We'll have that opportunity to do things. I can't tell you right now. I mean, I could guess, but it would just be a guess. So, but I promise you, if you're a real competitor, you're not letting options get away from you. So we're going to consider every option as a possibility.
Let me break that down for you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I'm kicking no tires on all options, even that one. But let's keep it real. That's on the bottom of that's last case. Because think about this. Russ will be there whenever you need him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll ask you, if Russ and Fields were available, who would you take?
And I'm the Raiders.
Oh, any team.
I think it matters.
If you
though. I think it
wanted to
matters.
start,
I feel like if
the
I'm,
relationship,
yeah, I feel like it matters.
even though it ended frosty.
It did end frosty, but you're not, you don't have the baggage of like you coach the Legion of Boom. They all kind of hated him. It's kind of a
Well, they
fresh
hated
start.
him because they gave
Although
all the credit to
Marshawn,
Russ.
isn't Marshawn Lynch there? Like, didn't he crash
Yeah.
his press conference?
Yeah.
He did crash the press conference.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady's going to decide it, right?
Yes.
Is he quitting to go work that?
I don't think he is. I think they're just letting him own the Raiders and broadcast. It's
He can't have a say so.
I think he is, though. I think they've already gone through this. I think he has already, though.
I thought
Leroy.
he was only doing it for 1 year. I thought he was out.
I think he just told Cowherd that he was sticking around for his 9 years. Now, he very clearly hates it. I mean, I can tell a broadcaster who hates broadcasting. That guy does not enjoy doing his job.
Here's the problem. You can be knowledgeable, you can be informative, and you can speak well. But if you've never been engaging, that becomes awkward. Like, even Peyton Manning has been funny in his own way. So when he got done with football, we just got more of that, idiot kicker stuff, right? Same thing with Eli, right? But Tom Brady has always been like, he had this wall around him, right? It was almost like Bill Belichick.
If you were Darrell Bevel, would you go to the Raiders because you get to call plays again, or would you stick around the Dolphins if McDaniel gave up play calling to you?
I think that Pete Carroll delegates, so he would
get to call.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And they'll probably, so here he was an offensive.
Today he's the QB coach and passing game coordinator.
Right. He'd be the
Frank Smith is the offensive coordinator.
He'd be the offensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
Because you got to go step up. Or they'll do assistant head coach. And
yeah,
that's how you can take a coach from another team. And you see this ridiculous title that means absolutely nothing, assistant head coach. Assistant head coach and linebackers coach. Right?
SDS says, does Carroll not know Bevel? He has to interview him? I feel like it's standard protocol.
Nah, dude, like you got to do that for, to stay. But like nobody's knocking the door down. So like you'll be okay.
Take a break here on the show. Back with more for this.
The Heat host the Cavs tonight.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
If you do 3 fights a year, you're saving money.
Yeah, but like, will they do 3 fights a year? Like, you better be giving me a fight every single. Like, if I had the UFC, I would do that.
Okay,
because
I got you. That's what. Tell me they can't put something on TV. Yeah. All right.
Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Take you guys up until 2. Can you give a weather update, Leroy, from the Mesman and Dover Law Firm? YourAccentAttorneys.com. Free consultations 24/7. Call me at 866-954-MORE.
That was a little crossover because we hadn't finished our conversation during break.
Yeah, our conversation that had nothing to do with nothing. All right, Leroy.
Thank you. That makes me feel special.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing to do about nothing.
Lashing.
I was not saying that about you.
Can you get a minus one for lashing out?
Yeah,
No,
that's fair.
he just said.
What's the point of having the button if he's not going to get it?
-1
Really?
It's getting very angry.
for lashing out.
All right. I would say it's like I'm gonna say sunny. Oh,
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay. All right. Hey, focus on the weather.
You see the certified possum holder?
Yeah.
Focus on the weather.
Snuck by. It is beautiful.
Still.
The plane.
Stop looking at the CPH.
No, she went underneath.
Okay.
Can't see no more.
She looks like that Citadel coffee.
Expensive.
Expensive.
I'm guessing the planes are coming. Oh, right to left. All right. So the winds are coming out of the east. Very light winds. 5-10 miles an hour tops. Started off cool, but now I'm guessing it's about 75 degrees.
Wow.
And I would say we got a couple of nice days ahead of us. Right. Unlike us, who are leaving this beautiful weather to go freeze.
I really was not expecting. I don't know if I was. I don't know. All your legal needs. Mesman and Dover. Happy family. Greatest. That really is a great jingle.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I told you that it was going to be cold.
I know.
You should always wait. Marcos, here's how you should know what the weather is going to be like.
All right.
Tobin asked a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you bringing your golf clubs?
Yeah.
That is an important question.
You're still not going to brave it?
Absolutely not. Dude, I lived there and I couldn't believe how miserable I was.
Tomorrow's
for
the coldest
2
day
months.
it's going to be in weeks.
2 months. I was miserable. January and February, it was 40, 50 degrees for a low, sunny with a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Jeez.
Yeah, right now, currently 41 degrees in Vegas.
What's that wind doing?
It doesn't say it's too windy as of right now. They have
So 41 with no humidity is not cold. And sunny, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Just a little nip in the air.
Yeah.
So that's not, but as soon as it gets dark,
34.
Huh?
34 tonight, apparently.
Yeah, but we'll be inside.
All right.
Like we'll hit the tunnels. But now here's the kicker. Let me just say
Hit
this.
the tunnels.
Let me just say this. Dude, there's nothing like we have to get up the same amount of time it takes to drive to work, which is crazy because we're on foot.
Oh, because you can't. You can only
Well,
cross.
It just depends on where they put it.
The hotel that we're in, which is normally New York,
Yes.
they like, but the media center is like all the way at the MGM, and like that's a hike because it's on the other side of the MGM.
So it's,
Right.
I thought it was at the T-Mobile because if
Yeah,
it
but
was at
one
T-Mobile,
time we did it was at T-Mobile. That was cool. We were right
I
there.
think it's like it just saves them money. They don't have to buy a tent, so I don't know.
I know we had the tent for Floyd Mayweather and
for Connor. Yeah,
Connor.
that was a huge tent.
That was a huge tent.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's where I got that munion on that fight.
Yeah. We'll take a break. When we come back, Wes Goldberg from
Yes.
Locked On Heat. We will talk all things Miami Heat with our guy Wes from Locked On Heat.
You think he's frustrated?
I don't know.
Or yeah, let's ask him because I just wonder
I would
people
say
that
Wes has
cover it
been,
just
in
annoyed.
I would say Wes has been in your ballpark of being as critical of Jimmy Butler, especially throughout his Heat career, of not being good enough in the regular season. So we'll get his thoughts on all these things, the De'Aaron Fox fodder, with our guy Wes from Locked On Heat. He'll join us next.
WQAM broadcasting live from the
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. It's time to talk to our guy from the Locked On Heat podcast, Wes Goldberg, going to join us here on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop 100 Toyotas each way. Oh, hello, Wes. Good to have you on, buddy.
What's going on, guys?
Wes, are you exhausted?
I am so tired, man. I was just sitting here daydreaming about a nap, dude.
He's like, I just want to take a nap.
Here's the worst part. Can you honestly explain, with all this stuff going on, why you're exhausted? You're just exhausted because you're tired of this.
Yeah,
right?
I'm tired of this, and it's first world problems too, where you're just always like checking Twitter. Is something else breaking? I've been on the trade machine. I feel like the trade machine owes me money at this point. I've been on it so long. It's definitely first world problems. This is not hard labor. This is just trying to come up with trade ideas and monitor the trade situation and talk and report and do all these things. But it's just like a lot of mental stuff, right? Because every day it just feels like it's something different and you kind of have to wrap your head around it.
Well, let's get your head wrapped around because I guess there's some kind of new twist to all trade fodders. And by the way, Wes joining us on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, toyotaofhollywood.com. So yesterday, it was reported that I guess the Kings and De'Aaron Fox's camp are now open to business on all this type of stuff. And you know, the first preferred destination is apparently San Antonio because he wants to go team up with Wemby. But obviously his relationship with Bam Adebayo is going to get Heat fans in a little bit of a tizzy. Hold on, you. First off, do you see any scenario where this Jimmy Butler drama could be weaved into the De'Aaron Fox whole sideshow that's now going on, or does this have to, even if the Heat wanted to get into the game, this has to be its own separate entity?
Well, if there is a scenario in which the Jimmy Butler thing can kind of be layered onto this whole De'Aaron Fox situation, Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg are the people to figure that out, right? They have relationships across the NBA. They have worked with almost every front office in every capacity in some way, shape, or form over the last decade. And so they are sort of, I kind of always joke, like, somebody has to tell Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg that you're allowed to do one team trades or 2 team trades. Like every trade they do is always like multiple teams for the most part. So they're the experts at this. If you're the Heat, you've got to call and you've got to ask, like, all right, look, maybe we can get this stuff for Jimmy Butler and then send this stuff over to Sacramento combined with some of our own stuff to go ahead and get De'Aaron Fox. And then it just kind of becomes, all right, does De'Aaron Fox expand his list of preferred destinations? The way that these things typically work with these star players is they kind of target one and then that destination list tends to expand afterwards. I can't imagine that De'Aaron Fox would be bummed out about playing with Bam Adebayo in Miami. So if that were on the table, I think De'Aaron Fox would be happy to do it. That's just guessing. But the other big problem is San Antonio, we keep hearing that De'Aaron Fox wants to go there. Do they want to shake things up in that major of a way in the middle of a season, right? We don't know that. We haven't heard anything from the Spurs side of whether or not they even want De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox feels like he's young and fits the Victor Wembanyama timeline, but he's 6 years older than Victor Wembanyama. Is that really the guy that they look at as being the guy there? So there's still so many moving parts. I'm sure there's more surprises here, but to answer your question, Tobin, yes, the Heat, there's got to be a non-0% chance that the Heat can get involved and basically turn whatever this Jimmy Butler disaster is into lemonade. And if that ends up being De'Aaron Fox, then it'll probably be a little bit of a minor miracle, but it can't be impossible. I don't think we could say that.
Do you feel like De'Aaron Fox, let's put the Jimmy Butler side, he moves on, they don't get that much except expires, whatever. The Heat and now where they're going to be at as a franchise, is De'Aaron Fox good enough to be like, we'll give you Kalaware, we'll give you Nico, we'd switch out Tyler, or is he a needle mover like that, where like you would consider giving up major pieces of what I guess looks like your future now? Where do you think where he lies as a star in that regard to what to give up for him?
Yeah, that's a great question. Me personally, Tyler Hero would be untouchable. and Khalil Ware would actually be untouchable. Because the whole idea is you're moving Jimmy Butler. And what happens when you move Jimmy Butler? You need to identify your next star. And whether or not it's De'Aaron Fox in Miami or not, Bam Adebayo is the face of the franchise going forward. And whatever you have to do to make Bam's life easier, you've got to do. And the number one thing, as we just heard from Bam the other night, is play him at power forward, play him next to a 7-footer who could space the floor just like Khalil Ware. He, to me, is sort of central. This might sound crazy, but to me, like, he is untouchable unless you're getting something like Khalil Ware back. The Heat need that kind of prototype in order to maximize what it is that Bam can do. And with that being said, like, okay, if that's the model going forward, then you got to figure out what fits into that. But I don't think you can move Ware, and I don't think that you can move Tyler Hero. He's having an all-star caliber year. To me, you want his spacing. Like, De'Aaron Fox is a great offensive player. He is not a respected outside shooter. And so you need Tyler's spacing, maybe even more so if you get De'Aaron Fox.
So he basically plays a similar game to Jimmy.
De'Aaron Fox, yeah. I mean, he's more aggressive as a scorer and obviously not the defender, but in terms of, inside the three-point line, 100%. He's aggressive. He's got this great feel in the paint and all this stuff. I think he could be tremendously helpful. And for the record, if you add De'Aaron Fox to Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Khalil Ware and figure out whatever the rest of it is, I think that's a team that can compete for the Eastern Conference Finals every single year.
Okay.
And so I would go pretty far in what I would be willing to include. The distant first-round picks, the swaps, all that stuff, throw it in there. A couple of the young players, you probably have to throw that in there too.
Throw in Nico, though.
Jaime Jaquez is from California. You know, Niko Jovic, I think, has value across the league. Like, these are all guys who have some value. I think it's worth at least exploring. But again, like, the key is we're losing Jimmy Butler. That would have to be the central part of the package. Can I get a couple of role players back and maybe a couple of draft picks back? And that's really the central part. And I'm just sort of adding stuff that I already have from the Heat to that package. Because if you're losing Jimmy Butler, I think if you're the Heat's front office, you got to say, well, we can't lose Jimmy Butler and then also include the rest of the future in order to get De'Aaron Fox. You're probably trying to find a middle ground there.
Wes, has Jimmy done just about everything possible to just diminish his value? And why would you do that?
You know, every time I feel like Jimmy Butler has run out of cards to play, he pulls another one out of his sleeve, right? And he's like, well, boom, I'm wearing Phoenix Suns colored shoes now. And you're just like, man, I didn't see that one coming. I respect the creativity. So I'll never say that he's run out of moves. I'll never say that he's found ways to completely diminish his trade value. But for the Heat suspending him indefinitely, they've essentially mitigated that risk as much as they possibly can. You know what you can't do? If you're suspended, wear a different team's colors and dye your hair in a trolley way while you're on there. You know what you can't do while you're suspended? Walk into a press conference after an Indiana Pacers game and tell us that you can't find joy on the court anymore. Like, you can't do all these things if you're away from the team. You can't make the plane late because you're not even invited. Like, these are the things you can't do if you're suspended from the team. And so we'll see, right? I mean, he's still got his social media presence. I don't know how much the Heat care about that, but maybe other teams care about stuff that gets posted out there in terms of diminishing his trade value. But look, the Heat clearly have come to the realization that Jimmy Butler is not worth much anymore on the trade market. And, you know, you have Brian Windhorst saying on ESPN the other day, the Heat are going to trade him. It sounds like there's offers out there. It might just be at this point, Miami picking the best of the worst offers that are out there.
Should the Heat have foreseen this?
Yes.
When they didn't extend him?
Yeah.
And should they probably started this process sooner?
100%. As soon as they decided not to trade him or not to extend him, they should have been looking to trade him. And they reportedly got calls about Jimmy Butler and said, we're not interested in trading him. That to me was foolish and even naive. If this, I was saying on Locked On Heat, like, once you decided not to extend him, just trade him. The window's closed. Like, I don't know how a front office, as much as we might have fallen in love with some of the runs over the years, 2023 and all this stuff, like, the front office's job isn't to fall in love with those runs and live in nostalgia. It's to have a sober, ruthless look at this roster. And I don't know how you would look at this roster and be like, yeah, this team can compete with a Celtics team that just breezed through the Eastern Conference last year. The window was closed in the summer. And so just even that, let alone all the stuff that you know that Jimmy Butler is capable of doing and how uncomfortable he's capable of making teams in his history. Like, even besides all of that, as soon as you've decided we're not going to extend him because he's too old and we don't think he's worth it anymore, then why is he on the roster? You should have traded him back then. And they would have gotten a lot more probably had they traded him in July versus trading him now in January or February.
Isn't it? It's like the guy who meets a new girl and everybody tells her she's done this in all of other relationships, and you go, she's not going to do that with me.
No, there was
I can
definitely an
take it.
organizational arrogance there.
Right. They
it's
he culture. He won't do that here. And I'm like, silly humans. Like, Jimmy, go be Jimmy.
It is. And I think some of that too is a little overstated just because he's done it in past places that this was always going to happen. Like you hear this all the time. Like this always happens with Jimmy. He always leaves this way. This is more of a function of sort of the new salary cap and the economics of everything than it is anything else, right? Like his problem in Chicago, like he told Fred Hoiberg that he didn't like him to his face in Chicago. Like that's not happening right now in Miami. You know, in Minnesota, he looked around that locker room and said, "Oh, you expect me to be a third wheel next to Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins? No way." And he didn't respect his teammates there. In Philadelphia, he openly bristled with the coaching staff there and bristled with some teammates there and wasn't long for Philadelphia. So this was like, had the Heat just given him the contract, and I'm not arguing that they should have. I've argued against it. I think they were right not to give him the contract extension. But had they just given him the extension, Jimmy Butler doesn't burn all these bridges, right? Like this was literally just a situation where it came down to money, where all the other situations in the past were a lot of sort of other extracurriculars that were involved there because Jimmy was always going to get paid. Now he's not going to get paid by Miami. He's probably not going to get paid by anybody the money that he thought he wanted to get or was going to get. But yeah, had it not been for the new salary cap and some of the limitations and all these things, maybe the Heat do just say, screw it, and just give him the extension and figure it out later. But it's way too punitive now to pay those guys kinds of top dollar. And I think that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, at the end of the day, that stuff to me is all on the side, like the personality of this and everything. As soon as you decided you weren't extending Jimmy Butler, you should have been shopping him. That's what the Sacramento Kings are doing right now. As soon as it became clear we're not going to get this guy on extension with De'Aaron Fox, you start shopping him. You'd rather be early than late on these things. And unfortunately,
That
the Heat
usually
are
is,
months
though.
late.
Pat usually is with that. I mean, think of how many stars that he's traded before they started that decline. And for some reason with Jimmy, I don't know, it's because they had the conversations or what Jimmy said when he was going to come into camp and whatever. Like I don't know. Maybe he hit his blind spot because this is not like Pat.
Well, I guess the argument against it, though, would have been the idea that if you did pay him and you had to satisfy Jimmy Butler and knowing how Tyler's playing, and if everything else would have come along, the Khalil stuff, would this have been better in this situation? And that's kind of more on the whole, all right, did they handle the relationship right? Because if you have a satisfied Jimmy Butler, yeah, he's probably only got one more push in him to be that guy. And that's still probably a roll of the dice. And the Heat, I think we're in a spot where they're like, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe it is just done.
Can I do a counter to that? And I understand the whole situation, and I'm not saying I would have gave him the contract. From the Miami Heat's perspective, they did not know Tyler Hero was going to be this. This is covering up a lot of why they didn't get rid of Jimmy early. And so now we're looking at it with Tyler playing the way he is and with Khalil coming in and with Bam getting to play a 4 instead of playing center. Now we're looking at it like, why didn't we trade Jimmy? But at the start of this, nobody knew how these things were going to play out, and we're kind of playing the result with Jimmy now.
And I would even argue, had you gotten this year from Tyler Hero, gotten a rookie of the year type of season from Khalil Ware, gotten Bam to play the 4, all these things that have happened, and you got an engaged Jimmy Butler, I don't think this team is sniffing the Eastern Conference Finals. I really don't think that they would have been that good because, like, let's be real, Jimmy Butler hasn't been awesome since game 2 of the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals. Like, it's been a while since Jimmy Butler has been playoff Jimmy. What?
No, Leroy. He's like staring me down.
Because he knows why.
This is, you know what this reminds me of is like when Dan Marino retired and then immediately the Dolphins defense finally got good. And they just sort of missed each other by a year or two. That's sort of what this is, right? Like Tyler Hero and some of these guys kind of blossoming here, they just missed each other by a couple of years, and had all this stuff kind of come together at the right time, we might be talking about a championship banner hanging in Miami recently. So unfortunately, that didn't happen.
It was hard to ignore though, like that win against Orlando. Finally they win a game like that, because it felt like every one of those games is blown up in their face. But the emotions that everybody had, Bam and Tyler specifically hugging each other, because it's one thing to say, hey, the torch is passed over to you, but it is impossible to do that with Jimmy still in the locker room. It felt like a moment for him. Do you feel like this can be a catalyst for them? Again, not to say that they're contenders, but, just to have this at ease now, do you feel like that could be a turning point or a pivot point for this team, or are we still going to do one step forward, two steps back? They'll end up, meandering around 500 all year.
So, yes to both questions, like all the above. I think this team will probably end up being right around 500 and end up in the play-in tournament. But like that almost is less important to me than what it looks like in the vibes. Like that to me is more important for this team. What really struck me in that Magic win, and that was the first time the Heat had beaten a team over 500 this calendar year. It had been since like late December, the last time that this team beat literally a winning basketball team. But what really stuck out to me in that game was sort of the clarity that you were talking about. I think clarity is such an underrated aspect in the NBA. Knowing what the pecking order is, knowing what your mission is on a night-to-night basis. How are we going to play? What is it going to look like? Who's on the court with us? Having Jimmy Butler, suspending Jimmy Butler, keeping him away from the team. Like the Heat had to quite literally play around him. Like Jaime Jaquez having to do like dribble around Jimmy Butler to get to the basket for a layup because Jimmy's just parking himself in the paint. Like that was happening. Him not being on the court provides a little bit of that clarity, not just on the court, but in that locker room too. And then you saw, I think, in that game, Bam unleashed, being able to hold Paolo Banchero to 2 points, where at center he would have been just kind of wasted, kind of just banging bodies with Wendell Carter Jr. He's able to hold Paolo to 2 points in the fourth quarter while Miami comes back from that 14-point deficit. You've got Bam also on offense facilitating for Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, kind of coming around those Khalil Ware screens on the other side, these like extended horn set that they're running all over and over again. In other words, you saw the identity of what this Heat team wants to look like and how it is that they want to play. And I honestly don't remember the last time we saw that so clear and so vividly. And that to me is the most important thing going forward, is that clarity, knowing this is what our identity is now. This is how we're going to play without Jimmy Butler. And then knowing, all right, now if this is how we want to play and this is how we're going to empower our star player in Bam Adebayo and our other star player in Tyler Hero, what are the other pieces now? Because now we know what the shape of this is supposed to look like. What are the pieces that we have to fit in next to those guys?
Do you feel the Khalil Ware buzz right now? What are you feeling? What this guy, very exciting, Wes. He's gone from a plus a gazillion to the favorite for rookie of the year. It feels like he's got eyeball popping plays every single game. Give me your most unreasonable thoughts with Khalil Ware right now.
I'm trying to think, like, what is this guy's ceiling, right? At the risk of hyperbole here, what's the prototype for a guy like Khalil Ware? Like, what's the best version of Khalil Ware? And I would say Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis?
Carl Anthony Towns is a good one. Like this version of Carl Anthony Towns, who plays physically with the Knicks, like that version of Carl Anthony Towns. Like these are like Jaren Jackson Jr. These are perennial, like all-star caliber.
He doesn't really shoot, right?
Jackson shoots.
Yeah,
he shoots.
These are the kind of guys that I think Ware could, like, if he were to reach the highest heights of his ceiling, like that's the kind of player that he could be. And when you look at today's NBA, that's the kind of player a lot of these teams need. I'm just so excited for him and Bam together. Like finally getting this together. Bam said it. He said, like, we saw what it looks like in the Olympics. And that's kind of a crazy thing to say, because it was Anthony Davis that he was playing next to. But Bam is believing it.
Like it's also crazy they were all there, and Bam's wanted this, and it is one of the things that is strange is this took Spo so long, right? Like there definitely had to be an earn my trust being on my roster, but very clearly his star has wanted this for a while.
Yeah, and look, I will say I understand why Eric Spoelstra was as patient as he was, right? Just because Khalil Ware did what he did in Summer League, that doesn't really mean anything to me. Like Summer League was fun, but doing this against guys who are not even in the G League, that doesn't mean much to me. And then at the beginning of the year, like he got on the court a little bit. He was not very good. Like he was kind of lost defensively, was a non-factor on the boards. And even yesterday, yesterday against the Magic, Khalil Ware gave up a rebound to the Magic, and Eric Spoelstra almost brought Haywood Highsmith into the game, and then sort of decided against it in the last minute and motioned to Highsmith to go back to the bench, and left Ware in the game, and that ended up being the right thing to do. But that was sort of that early hook that Ware was getting earlier in the season. So I don't know that Spo was supposed to do it early. I think it's really easy to just kind of see what the results are now and be like, well, this would have been the same results had he played him in game 20 as opposed to game 40. But you talk to everybody, like behind the scenes, he's done a lot of work. They love his work ethic. They love the basketball IQ with him. They love all of it and the commitment to everything. But he was not this like a month into the season versus where he is now. So I tend to, if we've all sort of agreed that the Miami Heat have the best developmental program in the league, then I do tend to just sort of default to them and just say, yeah, they probably knew what they were doing.
But here's the problem. By not playing Khalil earlier, you're actually hindering two people's growth. Because now you got Bam not being able to do the things that he does best. And that's the whole problem that I had with it, is that Bam's a 4. He was always going to be a 4. He was a hard worker, so you put him at 5. But he's a 4. If he can play 4, he's going to be at his best. Shouldn't it be more important for your stars to play in the positions where they are best and not have your best players playing positions of need?
No doubt about it. And I do think that if you're an NBA, like if you're a front office, a coaching staff, your job is to make your star player's life easier. And then the star player's job is to make the role player's life easier, right? Like that's so the trickle down effect on things. And so, but he tried, right? Like there's this idea that like Eric Spoelstra loves to go small. Every time he got a chance to try Kevin Love again next to Bam Adebayo, he tried it. It just didn't work. They brought back Thomas Bryant because they thought that maybe that could be a thing too. It just didn't work. They finally got to a point where they felt that Ware was comfortable. I understand what you're saying, Leroy, and I was there with you, man. I was like right before that Nuggets game, I was saying, this is the game. Here's where you play Ware and Bam together in order to guard Nikola Jokic. And then they didn't do it. And then a night later, they do it against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, and they win that game. So maybe you could argue that Spo's a little late on this, but I do think that it's important to kind of make sure that Khalil Ware is capable of doing it and that you're not just throwing him into the deep end and ruining, his confidence or anything like that. You got to make sure he's ready to go, or else, like I said, Eric Spoelstra has tried doing this before, playing Bam at the 4 with another center, and it didn't work, and he's had to pull the plug on it.
Your center can't be Kevin Love. He's 47.
He's very tired, but he's on a hell of an Instagram heater right now. He is. Wes Goldberg from the Locked On Heat podcast. Him and David Meal do a fantastic job. Go watch him on YouTube and all your podcast platforms. Anything else you want to plug, Wes, before we get you out of here?
Locked On Heat, that's fine.
All right, there you go. He'll be boots on the ground tonight, I'm sure, for Heat and Kaz as we're on our way to Vegas. So we appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, guys.
Take a break. Back after this.
Afternoons in the sports world are made better by Hawk and Crowder. Lots of football talk.
If I give you my time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Thanks again to Wes Goldberg for stopping by the program.
Yup. That's our guy. Steph got on me, so I'm going to be better.
Who got on you?
Steph.
About what?
My mic etiquette.
Oh, somebody needs to. I don't feel like that's going to change anything.
Really?
No. Some guys, it's like, it's some guys are gunslingers, and some guys are game managers. They just are what they are. We can only coach him so much. Oh, he's going to be less reckless. And Brett Favre's like, no, I won't.
You say I'm the Brett Favre.
I'm not saying you're the Brett Favre. I'm not saying
Brett
that.
Favre radio?
I think so, but it's okay though, because even if you are,
I believe Brett Favre. Please delete that.
It's like we
can have for his stock right now.
You know what? We should have a whole show, and you could just say out of context quotes, and just play all that stuff.
That's got to be one of the worst. I believe Brett Favre.
Because the problem is that we don't even know the context of it.
No, I remember the context. That's just unfortunate. But
because you do that thing.
Because he's one of the people you should probably believe the least.
Right, but you do the thing.
It was him with the Gastineau thing.
Oh,
yeah.
You were, and I was thinking about the money thing.
Of course.
That's right. But that's my point.
I just want to be clear. I don't believe Brett Favre when it comes to allegedly taking funds from the poor in Mississippi to build a volleyball court.
Yeah, I do
But
agree.
that Gastineau thing, I thought he made some points.
There is a possible show bid we have here about playing things out of context, because sometimes I listen, I'm like, what was this even about?
Right.
I don't care that he's
it happens
corny.
it'll happen all the time. And you'll do a best of one day, Marcos, and I'll be listening and I'll go, oh, that's where that's from.
So what
we don't even know ourselves, we forget.
What was the one that you're confused on? I don't care that he was too horny. I don't know what that's from.
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I don't remember that one.
Like
There'll be some listener who knows. Probably Dane South.
Like it's amazing. Like we look at it and say, what show was this? Like just no idea.
This one is also strange. Great, Mikey boy. Hope to see you on the beach with your buns out.
Mike McDaniel?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's terrible.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Doral Hyundai, choose from over 1,300 new models in inventory at the Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. We got a Heat tip-off tonight, 7:30 from the Kaseya Center, 6:15 pre-Heat, as the Miami Heat welcome in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Talbot East in the house
We
tonight.
will be
Probably over Texas. Probably.
Yeah, because we leave at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Game starts 7:30.
Yep.
Louisiana, Texas, Houston. Halfway.
I get that FanDuel app in the air. Can I get that? I can watch that game.
Well, you got Wi-Fi up there?
Yeah, you can get
sure
Wi-Fi up there.
Yeah.
Probably costs me.
Small fee.
Yeah,
$12.99.
first of all, I'll pay $12 to watch the Heat Cavs tonight.
I was recently bludgeoned by a Spirit Airlines stewardess because
Really?
I don't understand. This did not make sense to me. I understand Spirit Airlines is a la carte with everything. But, I'm already in a good row, and I'm like, hey, look, this emergency exit row is empty. You need someone in the emergency exit row, don't you? Right? So, just one step over there. She's like, yeah, of course. For $50.
Oh, on the plane she tried to get
Trying to shake you down?
Oh, she did shake me down. It wasn't
Wow.
She
That's what I
successfully
don't
shook me
understand.
down.
You buy a ticket on a plane.
Yep.
Then when you go to pick seating, then they can whack you for more money.
Yeah, which I
Now-
already paid for my seat, by the way.
Here's what I want to complain about. Okay. Now, if I travel with my daughter, she weighs a little over $100, right?
Yep.
I'm at 215, 220. If we sit next to a 300-pound dude, why do I have to pay extra for a bag? I'm basically just using up the space that the weight that he is.
Buddy, you know that they're trying to
Right.
whack you every place
Like
they can.
it's I'm so tired of being nickeled and dimed.
Mm.
Right? Like it's crazy. You used to be able to get on a plane with 17 bags, right? Do the Paris Hilton up in this piece, right? Now your bag has to weigh a certain amount or they whack you. And I'm not talking about a little hand slap. No, $100. My bag was 54 pounds. It's supposed to be under 50. They charged me $80.
For 4 pounds?
Yes. It's criminal what they're doing. It's absolutely criminal. So, yeah. Don't worry. So when they say, oh, we need somebody to help us, I'm like, nope.
Got another mock draft for you.
Ooh, okay.
Here's what I think. I said this on Sports Reports. I don't know if it's gonna get on. I think there will be more trades in this year's draft because nobody wants to be the team that goes all in for
Ward
or
Shador.
Yeah. It's just like
I think someone's gonna fall in love with Cam Ward.
I think they will, but here's the kicker.
It's me.
If you say this, does it make you feel different? If these two quarterbacks were any of the last 3 drafts, they wouldn't be first rounders. They're only first rounders because they're the two best available.
Yeah. But even when that happened a few drafts back with Kenny Pickett, he didn't go first. Like I do think that
he went in the first round.
He went in the first round, but he didn't go in the first. But he didn't go in the first couple picks. Like
right. Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks, right? Or was he the first quarterback taken?
No, he was the first quarterback taken.
Okay, I got you.
He was the first quarterback taken. That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't a strong draft. He had baby hands. Nobody believed in him. I just feel like Cam Ward is the type of guy. Even if you didn't think like, oh, he's in the class of Bo Nix, whatever. He did.
I think
he did. He did lead the number 1 offense in the league, and I think that from him, and I can't believe I'm using this term, but an intangibles type of mentality he's going to bring. Someone is going to fall in love with that kid.
I would say this: if you tell me he's going to be similar to Bo Nix, I would say some of the things he does would exceed what Bo Nix does. Like that, just that ability to feel his way around a football field to the point where sometimes it looks like he's just being damn lazy, right? Nonchalant about it. He isn't, but that calmness, that, I think that part of him will carry him, like you said, people will fall in love with that.
The mock draft, as Dave says. So what does the mock draft say? This is a Pro Football Focus mock draft. Number 1, they have Travis Hunter going to the Tennessee Titans. Number 2, Cleveland Browns select Cam Ward. Says the Browns are seemingly stuck with Deshaun Watson's contract for the next couple seasons, but he could potentially miss all the 2025 season after re-tearing his Achilles.
Don't worry. You best believe there's some behind the scenes activity with that one.
Is there? Yeah. What do you mean?
If you get hurt, not doing the required rehab,
not wearing your boot,
wearing your
boot, and
TikToking.
Says Cleveland gets a head start on his replacement by selecting Ware. His 91.7 PFF passing grades this past season led all of FBS quarterbacks. They have number 3, Shador Sanders, going to the Giants. Certainly, they are a team that is in need of a new identity. And Jesus, they need something after watching Saquon Barkley do what he's doing. And then we go all the way down to 13. The Miami Dolphins select.
Better be a fat one.
Once again, another mock draft that has him taking Malachi Starks from Georgia, safety.
No.
What are we doing?
Says Javon Holland is one of PFF's top upcoming free agents and is projected to receive a contract that earns him nearly $20 million a year.
Yeah.
Instead of paying top dollar for him, the Dolphins find a much cheaper yet still fantastic replacement in Starks here, currently a top 10 prospect on PFF's big board as he earned a career 87.5 PFF grade in college.
Okay, that's great. I'm excited.
You don't sound excited.
Has anybody Has anybody watched this team the last couple of years?
They do need new safeties.
They need new linemen on both sides.
Are we not signing Javon Holland? Are we done with that?
Everybody seems to think he's going to be too rich for the Dolphins.
You know what happened in football now? All these teams have waited so long to sign their players that they end up not being able to afford them. And it has happened a lot here, and it's crazy. It's crazy. There should be a rule, and there used to be a rule. It was called Plan B, but there needs to be something different. And here's what that rule should be. If you draft a player in the top 2 or 3 rounds and you invest that pick in them and they exceed or make a certain, Pro Bowl or lead the league or whatever, you cannot lose them because of their market value.
I think they could franchise them.
No.
They could.
I mean, they could, right? But I'm saying, like, the cap doesn't matter for these guys.
It's like bird rights,
right?
In the
Right.
NBA.
Well, bird right, Plan B. They had the same thing, but it was for all draftees.
Gotcha.
So yeah, man, I don't think you should be penalized because how many people have been considered? Oh, during the draft, that's a reach. That's a reach. I don't know if he, like, for example, Denver really loved Bo Nix. Everybody else is like, you shouldn't be penalized when his contract comes up
I gotcha.
because you took the chance on him. So there need to be something so we don't lose the Christian Wilkins, the Javon Hollands, right? Okay. The Jalen Phillips is going to be another one of those guys because he's hurt.
Yep.
So, like, yeah. So, like, how can the league needs to come up with a way that if you invest in these guys, that you can't be penalized when they're cut. But
Oh, man. Changing the game. That's what Froggy says. Bad Bunny.
Changing the game.
Hey, it may get his flag, but do you have that Leroy Horde Dad Bunny bit? Is that around anywhere?
Yeah, I'm
Can we just find that? That made me laugh.
Go ahead.
When he remixed you into Dad Bunny.
Probably
Was I not here for that?
No,
You were here.
Yeah.
Couldn't have gotten it without you. We got Rats Off a Ship coming on up in the next segment. We'll decide where our rats lie. Jaime Jaquez, congrats to him, by the way. Named to the Rising Stars roster. He's on the sophomore roster.
He hasn't been rising, though.
He has not been rising this year. It has been a little bit of a down. Would you consider a disappointing season from Jaime Jaquez so far, Leroy? Has it not reached your expectations, or do you kind of get it because he's? I will say, for his standpoint,
he is the player that is probably impacted the most
by
as
the
far
Jimmy
as
thing?
playing by Jimmy.
I agree with that.
Right, and so it's hard to get a good. Like people are human, man. We're creatures of habit. We like doing the same things. That's why if you hear like coaches talk, we want to keep it as comfortable and keep them doing the same things as much as possible so that they can go out and do the best possible job. Well, a lot of times on this team, because of circumstances, guys are doing a lot of other things. First of all, Bam, he seems so much happy.
Oh my God, he was happy.
Right. Just because he doesn't have to play center. Now he did it, and he's a trooper, and he's a leader, and he's a team player.
No threes last game, by the way. Not even trying.
Right.
Did you like that?
He can get back to that.
Right now, he needs to get back. The thing I loved about him,
He got back to him.
got back to the free throw line.
Right.
He was attacking. I loved that game from Bam Adebayo on both ends.
So,
but for Jaime, the thing that's odd with Jaime that I didn't think was going to be a thing, there definitely seems to be when he starts, he seems more comfortable in the starting lineup than he does coming off the bench. And I didn't think that was going to be such a thing this year. I thought he would have thrived in a 6-man role, even knowing that he's yo-yoed a little bit. He's not a good shooter. And I don't know if that footwork, which was so artful last year, has been figured out a little bit, or if you just think that the changing constantly of roles has been a hard time to get into a rhythm, because he had that great road trip right before he came back to the Jimmy chaos. He played really well. We've seen it in small flashes this year.
Here's what it is, and here's what people need to understand. This is his second year. Like
older.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like what the hell? Like when is a basketball player's prime?
25 to 29, 30, 31.
Okay. But they do that more in years. They give you age, but it's because it's always been like 2 or 3 years in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see moments out of young players, why do we always say they regress when they're probably just not there yet, right? So I think we need to be more patient with him because he had some early success. It doesn't mean that, that's the way he's going to be forever. It means that as you get older, you learn how to become more consistent. You learn how to, okay, now they're defending this, and now I have another move.
I think that's the thing that I found confusing, and I don't know, you could speak to this on being an athlete, because I always feel like when the game, because it felt like last year the game was very slowed down for him. Like I didn't feel him to be your typical rookie. And now it feels like I see him defensively. He's like out of place a lot. I don't know if that's a change of system or what, but I just feel like last year, hey, they threw him to the wolves. They'd be like, hey, you're going to guard LeBron for a good chunk of this game. You're going to guard Tatum. You're going to guard Kevin Durant. And, he did okay. Like, and I don't know if that was getting him ready or what, but now I just see him like, he seems like lost on rotations. He's flying all over the place.
Let's think of it.
I don't know if
this way.
I don't know if it's a thing where like his offense affects his defense or what, but he came into this year saying, I want to be a knockdown shooter. I want to be a lockdown defender. He's been neither one of those things.
Could it be that his role on the defensive side of the ball has changed somewhat now that everybody else's roles isn't consistent, right? So they just have him doing different things. The thing you have to understand is hey, say what you want, but when Jimmy's out there, a lot of guys could take chances and be more aggressive because you had a veteran group behind you. So when Jaime was in the game, it was never with a bunch of other young players.
No.
And so now he's like the vet out there, and he's got nobody to cover for him like he had when all those veterans were in there.
Maybe.
So, like, yeah, but it like just because you have success your rookie year in your first year, and it kind of slows down the second year. It's just like now you have a basis point of which you need to get to, and then you spend the next couple of years maybe trying to figure out different ways to get there. Like it's just not. The other teams watching film too, they're not going to let you just go out there and do what the hell you want.
I thought that footwork was film proof. You know, didn't it feel that way, Marcos?
It did feel that way.
Footwork was film proof.
Oh my God.
And with Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Do you realize that I want to hit you so bad? Right
Why do
now.
you want to hit you? It just felt that way.
But if Zoe would tell me that, yes, I may buy into it.
What do you mean?
Just what I said. If Zoe were to tell me that, I'd buy into it. Not you.
No, but like you understand what I mean.
No, I don't.
Okay, because you know how they say you can't teach height or you can't coach height, right? You know, film can't expose footwork. Footwork is film proof.
I've heard that.
You can watch it on film all you want.
I give you a perfect example of the nonsense you're talking. The D-Wade pump fake.
Yeah.
You can watch it on film.
Watch it all you want.
He know. Oh, got another one.
Footwork is film proof. Exactly. Same thing. Samesies. That's what I thought, but it seems like they've scouted his footwork, or maybe he doesn't have the confidence in his footwork because that footwork last year, art. That was art.
Come on.
And then
That was art.
Here's the other thing that other people also don't realize. Maybe they moved you up to a grade 2, so that the guy defending you is not, oh, just throw him on Jaime.
Interesting.
And have him get worked. Now you stepping up in class, and they put somebody else on you.
Interesting. You're good. We'll take a break. Rats off a ship is next.
I'm Chelsea Messenger, helping you beat the books with BetQL.
Sausage fingers.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you. Hey, Froggy, your camera took a dive there, dude.
Yeah,
it was me. I think I saw it fall.
Hey,
this is my best angle.
We're giving you a chance to win tickets to see Morgan Wallen with special guests Miranda Lambert, Brooks and Dunn, and Gavin Adcock at Hard Rock Stadium in July. To enter, text the word rock. Grow up, dude. Grow up.
Oh, Hard Rock. Right. So tomorrow would be Stadium?
I don't know. I can look. I'll see. I can look and see what tomorrow's word is. Text rock to 20357. ROCK. Rock. Text that to 20357. You can win those Morgan Wallen tickets. And yeah, we got that coming at you. But first, let's get to a little rats off a sheep.
Where's Jennifer?
She's off today.
Rats off a ship. Game 6.
She responded earlier.
Rats off a ship.
Yeah, her ears
She's in a
always
text.
ring.
She goes 10:19.
Mhm.
Interesting.
What do we got today, Marco? Step in for the birderer. What do we have for rats off a ship?
All righty. I'm going to do my best J Fig impression. Gillibird. Number 1. Well, where? Being left off of the Rising Stars roster.
Tomorrow's word is stadium. Well, at least you can't make a penis joke with stadium. Watch us.
I'll say we'll find.
Want to fill your stadium? Blue Chew.
Okay.
What was your topic again?
It is Kalel Ware being left off of the Rising Stars roster.
Rats off a ship. I understand
Rats off a
that Jared McCain got a roster. It doesn't make any sense. He's done for the season. Even if you want to give him the honor, that's cool and all, but he's not playing. So I don't understand that. Feels like to me you should have had your antenna up and been like, oh, we need a replacement. Should put Kalel. Maybe he'll still make it.
I'm guessing he'll still make it because here's the deal. As much as we want to have a problem with this, he been hot for like 3 seconds.
True.
So you got to realize that to go from not even on the radar to lighting the radar up, it's like kind of fast. Not saying he doesn't deserve it.
Esim says they invited Bronny. That's true. They wanted Bronny and LeBron to do the skills competition. I think they were going to, but also I realized G Leaguers get spots too.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit weird. I
would say do the G Leaguers against the young guys.
Yeah.
So we can put everybody in their place.
So rats off a ship on the Rising Stars.
Rats off a
Congrats
ship.
to Jaime. Where are your rats?
I'm not rats off a ship only because I could see how it could happen because of his recent success. And I'm also not rats off a ship because guess what? He could still be on it.
True. I'll be non-rats off. My rats will be back. We'll swim back if you put Kalel Ware on them. Froggy, where are your rats?
How can you not have the Rookie of the Year at the All-Star Weekend? Rats off a ship, dude.
He's
rats
been
off a
rookie
ship.
of the year for 3 weeks.
Oh, we know.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
It's been a fun time.
Know.
It's the first time I've ever agreed with you, and I'm winning. Wow.
Like you kind of made it seem like it could never happen again. I mean, I have thoughts that are good.
Well,
number 2.
Number 2.
Debatable.
Chiefs owner's wife, Tavia Hunt, says God is on the Chiefs' side.
No,
not the refs.
Rats off a ship.
God,
like rats off a ship. Stop, people. Listen.
Well,
rats off a ship.
Stop saying because you had success, God loves you.
That's what I mean.
She did say that though.
But that's
She
stupid.
did say that. She said when she I believe she said they prayed when they had a 2-13 season or something like that, or a 2-14 season. She prayed and they delivered them Andy Reid.
Or why don't you just send some money over to Philadelphia, who fired him and made him available?
I will say it feels like God doesn't love Buffalo.
Yeah, it's true.
It feels like that. But if God doesn't love Buffalo, what does he think about us?
Well,
What do you think he thinks about Cleveland?
Woo! Well, you guys made your choice.
Or
with
the
that.
Vikings?
Yeah, well.
Like, all those teams should, like, God doesn't like us because we're losing?
You know why?
Stop.
There's
stop.
nothing to do in Kansas City sin worthy. You can't sin in Kansas City.
You can sin.
Like, how?
I don't know.
Like,
Really?
What?
Dude,
Cheat on your barbecue spot?
I hate, listen, I cringe. I literally cringe when I hear people say it on TV. Right? Because if I'm successful and you're not, that means God loves me more than you.
Well, she did say it's not black magic or referee favoritism. It's God's grace.
Rats off a ship. It is definitely black magic and referee favoritism. Rats off a ship. I don't even know. Maybe God does love the Chiefs, but the refs also love the Chiefs.
I mean, so that means that God didn't love the Bills.
Nope.
God didn't love the Ravens. Right? Like, yeah, get it.
God did not love Mark Andrews' hands.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ooh. Those are sinners' hands. What about you, Froggy?
I am rats off a ship as well. Definitely ref favoritism.
Rats off a ship.
Number 3?
Number 3, the Pro Bowl games, as they have now been named.
Rats off a ship. I'm not
Okay,
here.
no.
I'm not here to watch NFL players play double dare. You know, like even if it was a charade of a football game, it was still a football game, and people had helmets on.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nope.
But it's
Take it from somebody who got concussed at the Pro Bowl.
How?
I'm like, my season just said,
Is it just you and the guy Sean Taylor hit? Is that the list?
The punter.
no, I've seen some guys. I've seen some guys get lit up.
Biggest hit.
But it's always, see, here's the thing. You got the snipers on the other side of the ball that almost think it's funny to go and clean somebody out. Now, that's how it happened. Because I was on kickoff. And I was just trotting. The play was over. Boom, cleaned out.
Jeez.
Yep.
So you're rats off a ship on the Pro Bowl games, or you like the Pro Bowl games?
I think the Pro Bowl is to basically get a bunch of people to pay money to come see their favorite players. That's it. And you can do that. Like, that's fine. Do we have to put our bodies in harm's way so you can do that? Or I would say it's more of an intimate setting when you do games like this, because you get to see the guys' faces. You get to maybe dap them up or whatever. When they're on the field and you're in the stadium, you're too far away. So, there.
Dade South says you're a toe bowler.
Point for Twitcher.
Laugh it up.
Frog boy?
I am also rats off a ship, and I will echo the sentiment of JJ Watt, who ripped the Pro Bowl, calling it the Participation Bowl because of how deep they have to go with alternates. Growing up, I remember seeing things such as the fastest man or the top quarterbacks compete for accuracy or the top receivers. Now I'm just seeing a bunch of guys in flags.
I mean,
that wasn't the Pro Bowl.
It also used to be after the
challenge.
Super Bowl, right? Like
Yeah.
the Pro Bowl used to be after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
In Hawaii.
And then none of the people in the Super Bowl would play, but they would go out there to.
Yeah, they would go. They'd wear, you know.
Because I remember one year, the loser of the championship game is the coach.
Yep.
Right? So the Steelers lost championship game to the Chargers. And the Chargers flew from the Super Bowl, which was, I think, was that the Michael Jackson Super Bowl out in LA? They flew to Hawaii from the Super Bowl because Natron Means was a running back. So it was Natron Means. Was that the Rose Bowl that year?
Yeah, 93 was the Rose Bowl. That
No,
was the
so
year.
it was the next year.
Oh, okay. Well, Michael Jackson performed at the 93 one?
Yeah. That was Cowboys.
It was
and
Cowboys
Bills.
and Chargers.
Bills.
No. When was the Cowboys Chargers?
What was the halftime show for that?
No, yeah. When was that Cowboys Chargers? That's the one, the Pro Bowl I'm talking about. It's 95 Super Bowl.
95, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But it
that
was 94 season.
95 was 49ers Chargers.
49ers Chargers. Okay. There you go.
Give us one more there, Froggy.
I shall. Final.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Leroy's big toe has a big toe.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
look.
Stop laughing at the toe jokes, Froggy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Your big toe may have a big bro, just like our boy Jake Paul, who we found out recently not fighting each other, dude. That was an advertisement for their new reality show.
Rats off a ship. Like, first of all,
you think? We sat here and had an argument whether one guy would punch his brother out. I told you that was nonsense.
Isn't your entire thing a
You
reality?
never had a brother. How would you know?
I understand, but isn't your whole thing a reality show? Like, you're a YouTuber. Like, your whole market is a reality show. I don't need you to have another reality show on Max. Like, I like how all the streaming platforms are doing it. Mr. Beast Games, the Paul brothers on. Like, no, I want them to fight each other.
No,
they're not fighting each other. I don't care.
You're not going to fight a brother in a fight?
Why not?
Oh, my goodness. Clearly. See, this is what it sounds like when you've never had a brother.
Bummer.
Like, because even Marco's like, yeah, I got one brother. Like, but I would let him knock me out. I wouldn't knock him out.
I liked everybody yesterday, too. It was like, this was genius marketing. And I'm like, it is? The show's in a month and a half. Now everybody knows it's not a fight. That's stupid.
I would have told him. I would have had him show up.
I had questions from the beginning.
Sick of them, dude.
I had questions from the beginning.
Are you going to watch the
known.
show? Are you going to watch the show then?
What show?
The reality show.
No.
Well,
Been watching
about
that
you,
reality.
Froggy?
You've been watching that reality show for 3 years.
Yeah, I'll give it a look. I like the Paul. Oh, okay.
take a break. Get you caught up with your headlines after this.
WQAM broadcasting live from the
That Lotto?
Cause girls is players too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't?
Cause girls is players too.
Who is it?
That's
Cause girls is players too.
Hey, who's that? That's not Lotto.
Coil Ray.
Coil Ray.
Oh, my bad.
There. But
Intangibles.
you know who that's the original beat is from?
I've heard the original beat. Who is that?
What's the dude's name?
Cycle Jungle sometimes makes me wonder how
keep him going under.
You haven't answered the name yet, though.
Cool. It's not.
Yeah. Who's Intangibles now?
Hey, who are you talking to?
Master
Frog
Flash?
Boy.
Me, I'm talking to my boy Len.
Oh,
What
I
does he
thought you were
want? Hey,
finding
go,
out.
Len, what do you want, dude?
Boy, he just wishing you guys a safe
Oh,
trip.
thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, we are got to head out to Vegas. So if you guys missed it, we had Wes Goldberg, broke down everything with the Jimmy Butler situation. Inevitably, when we play this back, Jimmy Butler's gonna get traded. So just everybody hold on to your hats for the next 50 minutes or so, because we do have to get on a bird. But first, headlines brought to you by Doral Hyundai. At Doral Hyundai, choose one of 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory at the Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. Speaking of the Heat, back on the hardwood tonight, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off at the Kaseya Center, set for 7:30. Miami Heat, let's check the line. Last I checked, they were 8-point dogs going into tonight's game.
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Told you, dude.
That's right. I heard him call it.
Cleveland. Oh, Heat have gone. The line's gone down a little bit. Heat are now 7.5-point underdogs.
Oh, I'll take it. No. Okay.
The coverage on the ticket or coverage on 560 begins at 6:15 with pre-heat. Let's get to some cat talk, huh?
Yeah.
Cat Talk on the ticket is brought to you by Hollywood Kia. The big game is here. Tackle game-winning deals during the handoff drive-off event at Hollywood Kia. You get $1,000 lease bonus cash towards your new Kia. Plus, we'll double your down payment up to $3,000. Visit them online at hollywoodkia.com and call them 832-930-6181. Cats take on the Kings tonight. Puck drops at 7 o'clock from Amerant Bank Arena, and that game can be heard on 790 The Tick Cat. Come on, try it on for size.
No. So, 2 Box 305 goes, I knocked the hell out of my brother. My brothers. Older one put me in a dangerous position of driving. The younger one drank the mega Kool-Aid and needs some sense knocked into him. So you're the grown up of the group.
Let's see. We got tonight Sergei Bobrovsky in net, according to Paul Maurice. That from Jameson Olive on Panthers.com. He says that Sergei Bobrovsky is in the net tonight. And let's see. Any other updates we got? Wants to see Mackie Samoskevich on the left side of the line with Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk tonight. Really likes how he played with Bennett, so we'll see the young Mackie out there tonight. And they get going, and I believe it's Star Wars tonight. Star Wars night at the arena tonight. So you gotta. That's always fun. I like Star Wars.
So
night.
Jimmy gonna come in dressed like Darth Vader?
No, at the Panthers arena.
Oh,
it would be Tkachuk. Tkachuk would be Darth Vader.
It's not strange though. Don't they usually do it on like May 4th? May the 4th be with you or
It's the
something like that.
playoffs.
You know, you're aggressive. What do you You're just lashing out.
They no, but that is funny because you get they have like the stormtroopers and the
Somebody
Wookiees all
say
around.
Jimmy acting like Jar Jar.
Oh man,
Star Wars night, pretty fun.
Remember who was supposed to be a top 5 pick that wasn't?
Who?
Milrow. Remember we getting 40 years started?
Oh, Jalen Milrow.
Oh yeah.
I
He's
just
at the
saw
Senior
him. I'm
Bowl right
looking
now.
at the
Mobile.
Alabama.
I mean,
mobile quarterback.
He's mobile, all right,
Yeah, they got-
because he's damn near a running back.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard out there.
Any of those names intrigue you guys? For
You
the
mean like later on,
Dolphins?
like so what do you want to do? Like a second, third round quarterback for the Dolphins?
Maybe like a third.
No.
I'll waste a third.
No.
Okay, but
No.
you need to solidify a backup.
Let me tell you something.
You do need a
Dude,
backup.
Come on.
My first 2 picks better be fat.
Okay. All right.
Just so you can
Th-
shame
third,
them.
Third pick, though. Third pick. What about that? Third pick on a QB.
Third pick, I'd go maybe a defensive back.
No.
Then
Okay.
fourth,
Now-
I'm not drafting a quarterback anything higher than a 4th or 5th rounder.
Great,
And that's
great,
high for me.
Great take. Now get out of the shotgun formation on your microphone.
This is very deep.
He had that locked and loaded. Like he just wanted. Oh, so.
Ooh, second round though. Schmeathan says draft Milrow.
No, what are you talking about? Like, hold on.
Turn him into
Hold
Debo.
on.
Debo 2.0.
Let me explain something to you guys.
Moose.
Why do you just think that you could take a guy that ain't never had to be physical, put him in a position at a next level,
Nah, he wants to be physical.
and just say run around and get hit?
Is he playing with the QBs though out there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he doing both?
He's playing with the
Looks like he's
QBs.
playing with the QBs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you want that guy to be 26 all of a sudden, right? Like, are you crazy? Like,
Well, I mean,
you can't just here. Take my word for it. You can't just all of a sudden the first time you actually get hit is at the NFL level. That takes man. Are you?
Jackson Dart available in the 3rd round.
I just love the name.
Jackson Dart.
Sounds like he's going to be good.
Because he throws darts.
Yeah. Love that name.
Yeah, and like Jackson is like, just get straight to the point, you know.
Mhm.
It's not like Copernicus Dart.
What?
I'd be like, what are you even? You're in the wrong field.
What did you?
Copernicus.
What you went and watched? Did you went and watched? What is that?
No, I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, Maximus 2. This
Cornelius Dart doesn't sound nearly as cool as Jackson.
It also sounds like that snowman. What was his name? Cornelius. The
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius.
He was a lumberjack.
Lumberjack.
Was he a lumberjack or was he an iceman? He was a gold miner, wasn't he? He was looking for gold.
Say, wow, somebody said Leroy got a deeper drop from that mic than Lamar.
Speaking of gold mine, right now giving you a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Morgan Wallen with special guest Miranda Lambert, Brooks and Dunn, and that other guy at Hard Rock Stadium in July. To enter, text the word ROCK, ROCK, to 20357. Text ROCK to 20357 to get more information. Go to WQAM.com. It's a text contest, message and data rates apply. Don't text and drive. Also, we got you a chance to win the Slam Dunk in Vegas, which is where we're about to head out to. Yeah. You could win travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Sin City, plus $5,000 for each guest. That's a total of $20,000. Easy to enter. Download the free Odyssey app, log in or register for an account. You listen to WQAM each day for a minimum of 1 hour for your entry. You could do it every single day. The Slam Dunk in Vegas. It's a great prize for your chance to win. All you got to do, listen to WQAM. Do what you're doing right now on the Odyssey app for free. Travel dates are March 17th through the 22nd, 2025. This is a national contest. We are going to head to Sin City right now. If you guys missed it, we are going out to cover the David Benavidez, David Morrell fight. We had David Benavidez in studio, so we're going to bring that to you, and then we'll also bring you Wes Goldberg, of course, who talked Miami Heat with us. So we got that coming for you up this hour. So you can keep watching that on Miami 56 WQM on YouTube and Twitch and on the Odyssey app. We'll take a break, and David Benavidez joins us next.
WQAM broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass Auto
By one of the best boxers on the planet, the monster, David Benavidez, is joining us here. David, thanks for the time, man. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me, and I really appreciate it.
Well, it's good. It's finally you've been down. You've been training down in Miami for what, like a year and a half now, 2 years? How long you been down here?
It's been it's almost about to be a year in February. I moved down here. I bought a place out here. I still have my place in Seattle, but because of the cold and the weather over there, I had to give myself something. That there's more summer and so more sunlight. So I came over here. It's a beautiful city, and I love it here.
It's always wet there.
Yeah, always.
Like it's always if you get the sun, everybody celebrates. But normally it's gloomy, cloudy, rain. I remember we used to go play Seattle. It was open.
Yeah.
So it was just miserable.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city, but it's just there's only 2 months out the summer where the sun really comes out every day, and after that it's just gloominess and dark and wet and rain.
You're fighting David Morrell coming up on February 1st, pay-per-view, Las Vegas. Hell of a fight, man. Listen, this is not a you're not taking an easy one here, which is not your style. You're always usually taking the hardest matchups. What made you get to this matchup against David?
So the way this fight was set up is, I've gotten to a point in my career. I've been professional 11 years now, you know what I mean? And I've won 4 different belts. And my plan was I was the number 1 contender at super middleweight to fight for all the belts against Canelo Alvarez. That didn't happen. So I went up to light heavyweight. I won a belt, this belt that I have right here, the interim title. And I was just looking for the best fight I could possibly make for myself because at the end of the day, I have something to prove, not only to the world, but to myself, that I am the best in the world. And the only other person that was there, besides Bivol and Beterbiev, but is David Morrell. So that was the best fight that I seen. Not the easiest fight. It's probably the toughest fight besides Beterbiev and Bivol. But I said, hey, I believe in my skills. I know that I'm the best in the world, and I want to prove myself on the big stage to all my people. And this fight, we made the fight happen. T-Mobile Arena, February 1st, and it's going to be a great night of boxing.
You guys got after to that press conference. It seemed like there was not a lot of love lost already between you guys. Is that right off the bat? Was there something beforehand? Because it seemed pretty vicious between you guys when it came to the war of words early on.
Well, because the only reason that happened is because at the end of the day, this is a great fighter, and he's trying to go in there and knock me out. You know what I mean? So he had a couple words for me saying that I was running from him, this and that, and I kind of had to test his temperature and let him know that I'm gonna be here all night, and I'm not gonna be running from nobody. And then by the time this fight is finished, he's gonna know who the best fighter, who the best David is, and that's kind of what I showed him. That was, I was just trying to check his temperature real quick.
How is it, because like the thing over the last few years is there's been a lot of fights that should have been made. You are willing to do that. You have the belt. You're willing to go ahead on and put yourself out there and fight who's available. Does it bother you that there's some guys that pick and choose and don't want to test whether they're the best or not? They just they don't want to have these big fights.
To be honest with you, the only thing that bothers me is that the person that was doing that is Canelo, and he's, it's not even about him. I don't care what he does, but he was kind of blocking my chance to achieve greatness, going up against the 4 titles. I know there's a lot of other people in boxing that do that, but it's not really my business. But that's the one I did have a problem with, Canelo Alvarez, and I think now, since Floyd Mayweather, his era came, I think everybody's now is more about protecting their O. And, if the money isn't right, they're not going to take the chance.
I got you.
But for me, I feel like if you want to get the money right, you got to go through the hardest fights. You got to show the people what you're really made of. And this is what I'm doing with this fight. Every fight that I've taken, they've been hard competitive fights, where it looks like it's 50-50. But I go in there and I do my thing and I show the people why I am the best in the world.
And the thing that was crazy, but I remember talking to you about this with Vegas because you didn't want to wait around. You want to make your own path. But, there's probably 2 fights that people really want to see Canelo fight. It's either against you or it's against Terrence Crawford. And it's like he comes out, it's like, all right, it's no disrespect to Edgar Berlanga, who's a fine fighter, but I think as the fans know, we know who we want to see. So when that was the fight made, you're did you eye roll at it? Were you like, this is really where it's going?
Well, you know what I mean. I wouldn't have had a problem with that fight if Edgar Berlanga would have went out there and really put everything out on the line. He didn't do anything.
Right.
It was just defense the whole fight, not trying to get knocked out. So it's like when you get an opportunity like that, come on, bro.
Go after it. Go get it.
Everybody's paying high amounts, like $100, $90 for this pay-per-view for you to not even give everything you got in there. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel like that's why Canelo has been avoiding me, because he knows I'm not, I'm going in there, I'm putting everything in that ring. I'm not leaving nothing to chance. And I'm putting, I'm working my ass off, and I know I have 100% confidence in myself. And I know whoever I get in the ring with, I'm going to end up winning. You know what I mean? So the people that Canelo is picking, we all know they're not the best. There's only one guy that everybody wants to see Canelo fight, and that's me. And, it's kind of unfortunate that that's not happening. But, there's still other great fighters. I always told people that what happens when you don't get a Canelo fight or you get the Canelo fight? Wait, is your career over? Right. You know what I mean? You still have to make your own path. You still have to, show the people why you were great. And I feel like my career, if I never get the Canelo fight, it's fine with me. My destiny is chasing greatness.
This fight against Morrell, he's a guy who has finished a lot of fights early. You're a guy, like, you do a lot of your finishing late. Like, you're a storm late in fights. How do you feel like that's going to play into your advantage? Because I don't feel like he's been in there with anybody who can bring it that long through a fight like you.
That's the difference between me and him. He's fought against people that are not really good. That's why he finishes them early. I fought with people that are experienced, veterans in the ring, and I finish them late. So that it's going to be, my experience versus, his him just trying to go in there, trying to score a quick knockout or whatever it is that his game plan is. I don't really know what he's going to try to do. But I'm 100% focused, and I know that this fight is not going to be easy. It's probably going to end in the later rounds. So my plan is to go in there and drown him in the deep waters.
And then do you have your eye on, Beterbiev and Bivol are going to rematch?
Yeah.
First of all, what did you think of the first fight? Because a lot of people thought Beterbiev got the generous rub there, keeping his belt. So what did you think of the first fight? Did you think Bivol won?
I absolutely think Bivol won. I think, as for combination-wise and ring generalship, Bivol had it. I think maybe Beterbiev stole some of the later rounds, but I think it was clear victory on my part from Bivol. So I'm thinking he's going to win again, to be honest with you. I feel like if he goes in there, he looks a little bit, he does the same game plan. I think he might take the victory this time, because I thought he took it for sure the first time.
I mean, that would be a hell of a feather in your cap, though, David. Like, if you got that matchup down the road, that's the latest Canelo loss that everybody looks at, and they're like, man, Bivol pieced him up. If you were to go in there and beat Bivol, stop him, whatever that is, take the belt from him and become undisputed, that's kind of like your checkmate move.
Yeah, and I would definitely beat Bivol. I used to spar him back then, and we had some amazing spar sessions, but I always got the better of him. And the last time I sparred him, I was 21, 22 years old. Now I'm more experienced. I turned 28 tomorrow, so I'm coming into my prime. And, I'm just a more focused and more hungrier fighter than I was when I was 22. So I know this David Benavidez will walk through Dimitri Bivol.
How, so are there any things for this fight? Are you training differently? Like, this is another run at 175. You won the belt in June. How did you like, first of all, just going up to 175 after starving yourself to 168 all those years?
Yeah, so my performance, the way I rate my performance, a lot of people didn't know, but I had a lot of injuries going into this fight. 7 weeks left to the fight. I had torn the ligament. No, tendon. Yeah, it was ligament or a tendon. It was pretty severe injury. They said I needed 7 weeks to recover from that. I'm like, well, I don't got that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use I'm gonna go ahead and just use my left hand. Hopefully by the time the fight gets there, this one's gonna be recovered. So I'm throwing jab, for like 2 weeks. I think there's 5 weeks left to the fight. I throw an uppercut and I hit the guy in the top of his head right here. So I actually fractured that. I couldn't even use that either. That hurt a lot. So then I'm like, well, I'm not going to cancel the fight anyway, so I'm going to just give it a couple time. I'll give it some time to heal up. 2 weeks later, I'm sparring in there again, and in the 12th round, it was probably the only 12-round sparring session I did with three different people. In the last round, I go back to the corner, and I get cut in my eye. I get 13 stitches.
Oof.
So there, I was like, man, I was really torn up. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Because I have this injury, I have a cut. But because the fans mean so much to me, I knew this was a big deal to the people boxing and to the people PBC. Gervonta Davis,
a monster card.
Headline, and then I'm co-main event. We really don't get big cards like that on the PBC side. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go in there and, I'm going to pray for the best. I'm going to pray that my hands are healthy. Everything. The stamina is there. Everything is there. So I'm going to just go on with the fight. And I kid you not, in the dressing room, I'm doing mitts. I feel the hand swelling up. I feel this hurt. So I'm already kind of nervous. But I went in there, man. I did a great job. I think I won eight or nine rounds against a veteran. You know, he was a silver medalist in the Olympics, and he was a unified champion too in light heavyweight.
Yeah, his only loss besides you is Better Beav.
Yeah, it's a Better Beav. So he's a great fighter. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot from that fight. I learned that I have so much heart. You know what I mean? And nothing's going to stop me. But now with this fight, it's completely different because I don't have no injuries. You know what I mean? My hands are 100% healed. And, you know, I feel like with this fight, I'm definitely going to be able to put, you know, put some weight on my punches. And, you know, when you have two injured hands, you can't really punch at 100%. So now this one, I'm 100%. I feel great. I feel confident, and I can't wait to go in there and perform for the fans.
Is there something about David Morrell? What is like the number one thing you guys are worried about that he brings to the table?
I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. But as of me being smart, and I got to use all my skills. I got to use my head movement. I got to use my distance. I got to use my cutting the distance. I got to use the ring generalship, body shots. I got to use everything. Basically, I gotta pull all my tools out of the tool bag and use them all that night. But David Morrell, you know, I said, like, I never took nothing away from him. He looks like he has he has a lot of KO percentage. He has power. You know, he has speed. But, you know, I feel like what I have in there, you know, I have so much experience. You know, I've been boxing since I was 2 years old. So I have 26 years boxing. You know what I mean? And then I've sparred the best since I was a little kid, and I fought great fighters. So I've been at this level, you know, more times than he has. So I'm going to use all that to my advantage come February 1st.
David Benavidez, go buy his fight against David Morrell in Vegas, February 1st, live on pay-per-view. Always appreciate the time, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
man. Appreciate it.
He hosts the Cavs tonight.
Time to talk to our guy from the Locked On Heat podcast. Wes Goldberg going to join us here on the Toad of Hollywood guest line.
Wes, are you exhausted?
I am so tired, man. I was just sitting here daydreaming about a nap, dude.
He's like, I just want to take a nap.
Here's the worst part. Can you honestly explain, with all this stuff going on, why you're exhausted? You're just exhausted because you're tired of this.
Yeah,
right?
I'm tired of this, and it's first world problems too, where you're just always like checking Twitter. Is something else breaking? I've been on the trade machine. I feel like the trade machine owes me money at this point. I've been on it so long. It's definitely first world problems. This is not hard labor. This is just trying to come up with trade ideas and monitor the trade situation and talk and report and do all these things. But it's just like a lot of mental stuff, right? Because every day it just feels like it's something different and you kind of have to wrap your head around it.
Yesterday, it was reported that I guess the Kings and De'Aaron Fox's camp are now open to business on all this type of stuff. And, you know, the first preferred destination is apparently San Antonio because he wants to go team up with Wemby. But obviously his relationship with Bam Adebayo is going to get Heat fans in a little bit of a tizzy. Hold on, you. First off, do you see any scenario where this Jimmy Butler drama could be weaved into the De'Aaron Fox whole sideshow that's now going on? Or does this have to, even if the Heat wanted to get into the game, this has to be its own separate entity?
Well, if there is a scenario in which the Jimmy Butler thing can kind of be layered onto this whole De'Aaron Fox situation, Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg are the people to figure that out, right? They have relationships across the NBA. They have worked with almost every front office in every capacity in some way, shape, or form over the last decade. And so they are sort of, I kind of always joke, like, somebody has to tell Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg that you're allowed to do one team trades or two team trades. Like every trade they do is always like multiple teams for the most part. So they're the experts at this. If you're the Heat, you've got to call and you've got to ask, like, all right, look, maybe we can get this stuff for Jimmy Butler and then send this stuff over to Sacramento combined with some of our own stuff to go ahead and get De'Aaron Fox. And then it just kind of becomes, all right, does De'Aaron Fox expand his list of preferred destinations? The way that these things typically work with these star players is they kind of target one and then that destination list tends to expand afterwards. I can't imagine that De'Aaron Fox would be bummed out about playing with Bam Adebayo in Miami. So if that were on the table, I think De'Aaron Fox would be happy to do it. That's just guessing. But the other big problem is San Antonio, we keep hearing that De'Aaron Fox wants to go there. Do they want to shake things up in that major of a way in the middle of a season, right? We don't know that. We haven't heard anything from the Spurs side of whether or not they even want De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox feels like he's young and fits the Victor Wembanyama timeline, but he's 6 years older than Victor Wembanyama. Is that really the guy that they look at as being the guy there? So there's still so many moving parts. I'm sure there's more surprises here, but to answer your question, Tobin, yes, the Heat, there's got to be a non-0% chance that the Heat can get involved and basically turn whatever this Jimmy Butler disaster is into lemonade. And if that ends up being De'Aaron Fox, then it'll probably be a little bit of a minor miracle, but it can't be impossible. I don't think we could say that.
Do you feel like De'Aaron Fox, let's put the Jimmy Butler side, he moves on, they don't get that much except expires, whatever. The Heat, and now where they're going to be at as a franchise, is De'Aaron Fox good enough to be like, we'll give you Kalaware, we'll give you Nico, we'd switch out Tyler, or is he a needle mover like that, where like you would consider giving up major pieces of what I guess looks like your future now? Where do you think where he lies as a star in that regard to what to give up for him?
Yeah, that's a great question. Me personally, Tyler Hero would be untouchable, and Khalil Ware would actually be untouchable. Because the whole idea is you're moving Jimmy Butler. And what happens when you move Jimmy Butler? You need to identify your next star. And whether or not it's De'Aaron Fox in Miami or not, Bam Adebayo is the face of the franchise going forward. And whatever you have to do to make Bam's life easier, you've got to do. And the number one thing, as we just heard from Bam the other night, is play him at power forward, play him next to a 7-footer who could space the floor just like Khalil Ware. He, to me, is sort of central. This might sound crazy, but to me, he is untouchable unless you're getting something like Khalil Ware back. The Heat need that kind of prototype in order to maximize what it is that Bam can do. And with that being said, like, okay, if that's the model going forward, then you got to figure out what fits into that. But I don't think you can move Ware, and I don't think that you can move Tyler Hero. He's having an all-star caliber year. To me, you want his spacing. Like, De'Aaron Fox is a great offensive player. He is not a respected outside shooter. And so you need Tyler's spacing, maybe even more so if you get De'Aaron Fox.
So he basically plays a similar game to Jimmy.
De'Aaron Fox, yeah. I mean, he's more aggressive as a scorer and obviously not the defender, but in terms of, inside the three-point line, 100%. He's aggressive. He's got this great feel in the paint and all this stuff. I think he could be tremendously helpful. And for the record, if you add De'Aaron Fox to Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Khalil Ware and figure out whatever the rest of it is, I think that's a team that can compete for the Eastern Conference Finals every single year.
Okay.
And so I would go pretty far in what I would be willing to include. The distant first-round picks, the swaps, all that stuff, throw it in there. A couple of the young players, you probably have to throw that in there too.
Throw in Nico, though.
Jaime Jaquez is from California. You know, Niko Jovic, I think, has value across the league. Like, these are all guys who have some value. I think it's worth at least exploring. But again, like, the key is we're losing Jimmy Butler. That would have to be the central part of the package. Can I get a couple of role players back and maybe a couple of draft picks back? And that's really the central part. And I'm just sort of adding stuff that I already have from the Heat to that package. Because if you're losing Jimmy Butler, I think if you're the Heat's front office, you got to say, well, we can't lose Jimmy Butler and then also include the rest of the future in order to get De'Aaron Fox. You're probably trying to find a middle ground there.
Wes, has Jimmy done just about everything possible to just diminish his value? And why would you do that?
You know, every time I feel like Jimmy Butler has run out of cards to play, he pulls another one out of his sleeve, right? And he's like, well, boom, I'm wearing Phoenix Suns colored shoes now. And you're just like, man, I didn't see that one coming. I respect the creativity. So I'll never say that he's run out of moves. I'll never say that he's found ways to completely diminish his trade value. But for the Heat suspending him indefinitely, they've essentially mitigated that risk as much as they possibly can. You know what you can't do? If you're suspended, wear different team's colors and dye your hair in a trolley way while you're on there. You know what you can't do while you're suspended? Walk into a press conference after an Indiana Pacers game and tell us that you can't find joy on the court anymore. Like, you can't do all these things if you're away from the team. You can't make the plane late because you're not even invited. Like, these are the things you can't do if you're suspended from the team. And so we'll see, right? I mean, he's still got his social media presence. I don't know how much the Heat care about that, but maybe other teams care about stuff that gets posted out there in terms of diminishing his trade value. But look, the Heat clearly have come to the realization that Jimmy Butler is not worth much anymore on the trade market. And, you know, you have Brian Windhorst saying on ESPN the other day, the Heat are going to trade him. It sounds like there's offers out there. It might just be at this point, Miami picking the best of the worst offers that are out there.
Should the Heat have foreseen this?
Yes.
When they didn't extend him?
Yeah.
And should they probably started this process sooner?
100%. As soon as they decided not to trade him or not to extend him, they should have been looking to trade him. And they reportedly got calls about Jimmy Butler and said, we're not interested in trading him. That to me was foolish and even naive. If this, I was saying on Locked On Heat, like, once you decided not to extend him, just trade him. The window's closed. Like, I don't know how a front office, as much as we might have fallen in love with some of the runs over the years, 2023 and all this stuff, like, the front office's job isn't to fall in love with those runs and live in nostalgia. It's to have a sober, ruthless look at this roster. And I don't know how you would look at this roster and be like, yeah, this team can compete with a Celtics team that just breezed through the Eastern Conference last year. The window was closed in the summer. And so just even that, let alone all the stuff that you know that Jimmy Butler is capable of doing and how uncomfortable he's capable of making teams in his history. Like, even besides all of that, as soon as you've decided we're not going to extend him because he's too old and we don't think he's worth it anymore, then why is he on the roster? You should have traded him back then. And they would have gotten a lot more probably had they traded him in July versus trading him now in January or February.
It was hard to ignore, though, like that win against Orlando. You know, finally they win a game like that, because it felt like every one of those games is blown up in their face. But the emotions that everybody had, you know, Bam and Tyler specifically hugging each other, you know, because it's one thing to say, hey, the torch is passed over to you, but it is impossible to do that with Jimmy still in the locker room. It felt like a moment for him. Do you feel like this can be a catalyst for them? Again, not to say that they're contenders, but, just to have this at ease now, do you feel like that could be a turning point or a pivot point for this team, or are we still going to do one step forward, two steps back? They'll end up, meandering around 500 all year.
So, yes to both questions, like all the above. I think this team will probably end up being right around 500 and end up in the play-in tournament. But like that almost is less important to me than what it looks like in the vibes. Like I that to me is more important for this team. What really struck me in that Magic win, and that was the first time the Heat had beaten a team over 500 this calendar year. It had been since like late December the last time that this team beat literally a winning basketball team. But what really stuck out to me in that game was sort of the clarity that you were talking about. I think clarity is such an underrated aspect in the NBA. Knowing what the pecking order is, knowing what your mission is on a night-to-night basis. How are we going to play? What is it going to look like? Who's on the court with us? Having Jimmy Butler, suspending Jimmy Butler, keeping him away from the team, like the Heat had to quite literally play around him. Like Jaime Jaquez having to do like dribble around Jimmy Butler to get to the basket for a layup because Jimmy's just parking himself in the paint. Like that was happening. Him not being on the court provides a little bit of that clarity, not just on the court, but in that locker room too. And then you saw, I think, in that game, Bam unleashed, being able to hold Paolo Banchero to 2 points, where at center he would have been just kind of wasted, kind of just banging bodies with Wendell Carter Jr. He's able to hold Paolo to 2 points in the fourth quarter while Miami comes back from that 14-point deficit. You've got Bam also on offense facilitating for Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, kind of coming around those Khalil Ware screens on the other side, these like extended horn set that they're running all over and over again. In other words, you saw the identity of what this Heat team wants to look like and how it is that they want to play. And I honestly don't remember the last time we saw that so clear and so vividly. And that to me is the most important thing going forward, is that clarity, knowing this is what our identity is now. This is how we're going to play without Jimmy Butler. And then knowing, all right, now if this is how we want to play and this is how we're going to empower our star player in Bam Adebayo and our other star player in Tyler Hero, what are the other pieces now? Because now we know what the shape of this is supposed to look like. What are the pieces that we have to fit in next to those guys?
Do you feel the Khalil Ware buzz right now? What are you feeling? What this guy, very exciting, Wes. He's gone from a plus a gazillion to the favorite for rookie of the year. It feels like he's got eyeball popping plays every single game. Give me your most unreasonable thoughts with Khalil Ware right now.
I'm trying to think, like, what is this guy's ceiling, right? At the risk of hyperbole here, what's the prototype for a guy like Khalil Ware? Like, what's the best version of Khalil Ware? And I would say Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis?
Carl Anthony Towns is a good one. Like this version of Carl Anthony Towns, who plays physically with the Knicks, like that version of Carl Anthony Towns. Like these are like Jaren Jackson Jr. These are perennial, like all-star caliber.
He doesn't really shoot, right?
Jackson shoots.
Yeah.
He shoots.
These are the kind of guys that I think Ware could, like, if he were to reach the highest heights of his ceiling, like that's the kind of player that he could be. And when you look at today's NBA, that's the kind of player a lot of these teams need. I'm just so excited for him and Bam together. Like finally getting this together. Bam said it. He said, like, we saw what it looks like in the Olympics. And that's kind of a crazy thing to say, because it was Anthony Davis that he was playing next to. But
and
Bam
it's also
is believing
crazy,
it.
like it's also crazy they were all there, and Bam's wanted this, and it is one of the things that is strange is this took Spo so long, right? Like they definitely had to be an earn my trust being on my roster, but very clearly his star has wanted this for a while.
Yeah, and look, I will say I understand why Eric Spoelstra was as patient as he was, right? Just because Khalil Ware did what he did in Summer League, that doesn't really mean anything to me. Like Summer League was fun, but doing this against guys who are not even in the G League, that doesn't mean much to me. And then at the beginning of the year, like he got on the court a little bit. He was not very good. He was kind of lost defensively, was a non-factor on the boards. And even yesterday against the Magic, Khalil Ware gave up a rebound to the Magic, and Eric Spoelstra almost brought Haywood Highsmith into the game and then sort of decided against it in the last minute and motioned to Highsmith to go back to the bench and left Ware in the game. And that ended up being the right thing to do. But that was sort of that early hook that Ware was getting earlier in the season. So I don't know that Spo was supposed to do it early. I think it's really easy to just kind of see what the results are now and be like, well, this would have been the same results had he played him in game 20 as opposed to game 40. But you talk to everybody like behind the scenes, he's done a lot of work. They love his work ethic. They love the basketball IQ with him. They love all of it and the commitment to everything. But he was not this like a month into the season versus where he is now. So I tend to, if we've all sort of agreed that the Miami Heat have the best developmental program in the league, then I do tend to just sort of default to them and just say, yeah, they probably knew what they were doing.
Wes Goldberg from the Locked On Heat podcast. Him and David Meal do a fantastic job. Go watch him on YouTube and all your podcast platforms. Anything else you want to plug, Wes, before we get you out of here?
Locked On Heat, that's fine.
All right, there you go. He'll be boots on the ground tonight, I'm sure, for Heat and Kaz as we're on our way to Vegas. So we appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, guys.
Afternoons in the sports world are made better by Hawk and Crowder. There's an Inter Miami too.